ngaro na la wato kuma ta bak asira linga da fo ko nyi founding kila
hey elafta maboro la bang kalpo efa igiso eseo na yuna jang ibadin kila to kati yuna wallet ibe falindiro ke kan sandiri nyat
ni la yuna wallet to si muna fanno tulo yabo mano kandrin anin fen jama isi sanno la yuna wallet to kono yalla kamo soto ila wallet to kono
alkana la konda no tay ka yuna wallet anatan tolle rukan na balwo fanondi abe sono yaren ko bulu podo ne la mobile scan yo science ise maboro ke wato men diate
ko be sandro ke fangole ba ko ba ke kan dimbalem isi ñu lonko e sandro se yona enterprise wato wati ani la yona wallet to la e be lan kam soto kay la wallet to kono
alina nga kafun nanyi yuna dimbayal kan kasandiro ke yuna bitikoto alina kata nyin ko kentat na sulo fon lolu si sandiro kije se maboro fanan keje
moro jundiana nyum ko di mabal ni kadeda
of my show. It's another Thursday and we are back in the studio, but it's definitely a rainy day here around Tranquil, but I guess it is the same in Lemon, Mandinaring, in Foni, and of course us the farmers we're enjoying this. From here we'll be going to our farms, and with me I have two farmers. They're both from Foni, right? Fatou Baldeh.
No, a farmer and an activist.
Farmer and activist.
Yes, she's an activist, I'm a farmer.
And she's also a farmer.
No,
but you have a farm?
Today, whatever Honorable calls, it's fine. I don't think I will get away from the activist, so allow him.
We'll allow him to have that.
Yes.
But Honorable and Fatou Baldeh, MBE, the founder of the Women in Liberation and Leadership Will, and Honorable Almameh Gibba of Foni Kansala. Welcome to the show. Fatou, first, let's look at, you were in, first, congratulations. You were in the US in March. You met with the first family. I saw you with Dr. Jill. I love the Bidens,
yeah.
And, you were there, you were awarded. And that was a big pride for us, especially Gambian women, having to look up to somebody who, is recognized. You were recognized in the UK. That's how you got the title, and also obviously in the US. And it's all through the work that you do to uplift Gambian women. Tell us, how was that moment? I mean, this is not the first time, right? It was in the UK, but we're talking about the United States, right? How was that moment? How was that?
Thank you. Thank you so much, Fatou, and assalamu alaikum to the viewers. Thank you for having me. Of course, it was a big honor and an absolute privilege for me to have received the International Woman of Courage Award from the U.S. State Department. For me, as I've said since then, it was significant for me because I think young women, young Gambian women, it's important that we have role models. It's important that young girls and young women see the mountains that Gambian women keep climbing, because I believe Gambian women are very strong, very resilient, and very smart. We have so many role models, young women looking at you, seeing you, the work that you do, but also myself and many other women. So for me, it was that young women seeing me and having a role model that to look up to. Yeah.
And you came back to all of this that was created by your brother. Right after that trip, when you came, Honorable Gibba, prepared a bill, a private member's bill that was tabled in the National Assembly to, I don't know whether to say fight or to attack, but this is something that you've been passionate about, women empowerment, ending FGM, and among others. The Honorable tabled a bill that seek to change that law that we have in existence. But I just want to be clear that this also was created because something happened. And I always tell people, I think we should not forget what really brought that, bill. I think because we had this bill, I think since the law since 2015. But I think the enforcement was not very, very prominent. We didn't have a lot of people being prosecuted for FGM and FGM related issues, but in like earlier this year, a woman in the upper country was prosecuted, and then the imams went and paid for it, and some people said, whoa, okay, now they're taking our people to court. I mean, this law has been here, and I think it silenced the practice. The activists have done a lot of work to for making sure people are not practicing it like that, like they used to do before. But when that happened, the conversation started. Do you think the enforcement part, should that be how we should go about it, or if we had not gone to that level, would we be at this level that we are now?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. So for me, firstly, I want to thank Honorable Gibba for actually bringing this bill up. It's been a rough moment. It's been very exhausting, and I'm sure not just for us, for everybody. Yes, scary, exhausting, tiring. It's been a long battle. However, I want to thank him because, as you said, this bill came in 2015 during Jammeh's time, and many people have used that to attack the law itself, that the way the law came about wasn't very democratic, like people were not really engaged, and it was just a pronouncement, and it didn't go through the right channels. And we had this law. So we've always had that people have used that to attack whenever we talk about the law. And the reason I'm thanking him is because he has forced us as a country to really talk about this law, to have the discussion. And also for me, this whole bill and the fight has broken that taboo, that culture of silence. Over the past few months, there isn't anywhere that you go around this country where people are not having conversation about FGM or female circumcision or female genital mutilation. It was a conversation everywhere. So he has contributed to breaking that culture of silence. People have been forced, and you will all agree with me that it has gone through a process. And I don't remember, and I haven't witnessed any bill that has received so much attention. So for me, we now cannot say that this didn't go through a process. So if he had not brought that up, we will continue to have this issue. So I wanted to acknowledge that. But also for me, what is a law if it's not enforced? People are saying congratulations to us. This is, for me, I am not celebrating. I am happy, I am relieved that the ban wasn't lifted. I am very relieved, but I am not celebrating because I know that we have more work to do. I know that there are many girls who are at risk. I also know that over the last 11 months, since this whole conversation started, the law was at standstill. So many girls have been caught in between that time. So as much as I am relieved, I am also concerned that it took us 8 years to have a successful prosecution on this law. 8 years. And when we had that law, look at the backlash. When we had the successful prosecution, look at the backlash. So we really hope that the government, since now the law has gone through the whole process, we do hope that from now on it is implemented effectively, because otherwise what is the point of having a law if it's not going to be implemented?
Honorable, it seems like I kind of agree with Fatou here. You really help us have a conversation that a lot of us, especially us women who have gone through circumcision, we would not even speak about it. I don't think I would have ever wanted to have platforms like this. This might be the 5th or 6th time I'm talking about this. So you have helped us start a conversation. Whether the law stays or it didn't stay, it helped the conversation to start. And now at this point, we also know where we all stand when it comes to this law. So it seems like you help the activists to achieve something, to enlighten the people about FGM, whether good or bad. You were able to do that. Now, the law, you wanted to lift the ban. It seems like they won. They were able to lobby more and be able to get the National Assembly members on their side, and your bill failed. First reaction?
Thank you very much. I thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for the realization of our affected women. And also they stand in solidarity with the teachings of Islam, and I will also stand in solidarity with the traditional practice. That, and again also the constitutional order, because section 25C1 has deliberated very clearly upon the ban. And section 33(3) also emphasized about discriminatory. And section 32 also talks about the religious context. In the general holistic approach, I am not helping the activists. I was availing them to understand the status quo of what their activism are all about.
Okay.
You know, in life, as I do tell people, you know, in any factor that emanates, as he has alluded, this was a bill that was passed in 2015. 2 years later, change occurs.
Yeah.
5 years later, we had another election.
Yeah.
As I do tell people, a law that others may think will be in the dictates of to favor a cohort or a minority doesn't satisfy the wish and aspiration of the Gambian people. As I do tell people, and I do correct them, and even the activists, I do tell them, my bill is not FGM. FGM is borrowed. You know, they have to accept. And I could also put to Fatou to understand, when do the Gambia or the foreign Westerners started using this word in Africa? It was just like a blinking of less than 20 years ago. What we knew, what was thought of, was what we call female circumcision. But the trends and the area in which they would push onto the norms and values of our culture, they have to bring words that will serve fearful to the mindset of people. This was a word that was not used. You know, what we know is the Sunnah. In the Mandinka, also, so in English, we'll talk about female circumcision. You know, as I do tell people, my bill that I push in the parliament is called female circumcision. And in the first caption of the bill, it's saying prohibition of female circumcision. So I had a lot of journalists, you know, in BBC, Al Jazeera, and even activists. I do tell them, you know, as I do tell people, in as much as you do in your activism, you're trying to ponder a name. You have to be realistic in what you want to sell your agenda to. Because I do tell people, my bill is not an FGM bill. The bill is female circumcision. And in section 33B, the last part says anything that also emanate any method of FGM. So in the bill, there is a distinction between female circumcision and FGM. If it was the same, they could have said the first caption that FGM, prohibition of FGM. But they said prohibition of female circumcision. And in 32B, it says anything that is also the same or emanate or looks off onto female genital mutilation is also banned. So the general context that I want to feel and inform the activists, people who are using this as a campaign trail, is, you know, in as much as we are concerned, I do tell them that the law is not about FGM. And FGM, me, I don't believe in it. And in our Quran and Sunnah and the teaching of Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, FGM emanates from Pharaoh. When the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was on the time of Musa alayhi salatu wasalam, it means pharaonic genital mutilation. So the Westerners and the past that want to empower and also clarify the African context and defeat the purpose of our religious and cultural belief, they don't have anything. They made a very investigation, said, okay, I think when he said female circumcision, female circumcision, we translate in a local language means musola nyagadodo, the sunnah. So let's use this word to terrify them. And I can tell you, me, I made my empirical research. When it went further, it was in the then activism in the country, down to the 1988 or 80s, down to this time, before even the ban. They went and studied the context of people again said. They are now saying they don't mutilate, but they're caught. Now let's use FGMC. You see, that's why they say /C. And I can tell you, time will come. You will hear either B or Z or whatever. This is the making. It's not them. It's about the forces that are behind. I can tell you, the forces of the West, they want to impose their moral aspiration, and they believe. And I can tell you, worst is happening in the West. You know, female cosmetic surgery is happening. A lot of mutilation of organs is happening. But you never see them using that. But they will only come to the African guy and also come up and terrify us with aid and beliefs and said, okay, you do this, it will give you. So that's why I also want to tell people, in as much as we could work on, let's let them portray what is on the table. And I will tell people, we want to agree on consensus. Let's talk about what are the facts. And I do tell people, even Jaha, when he was parading, he had the activism within the Western Senegal, who are foreign, whatever. When they come, they will just disguise themselves as journalists. I had to put to them that you are an activist trying to film and get the resources, but I have to put to you straight. And in so doing, the reason why I qualified this, Fatou, in my period of this bill, I have interacted with a lot of activists and even powerful people within others you don't even need to name. I sat with them in isolated places about this particular situation. We had a tete-a-tete meeting with a very powerful activist. She said she's a survivor. She went to the National Assembly, you know, on a consultation meeting where they normally call activists and survivors. After she went, she came back. They had planned a budgetary, because I want to give a distinction. Others who said, no, they are the same. FGM and FGM female, they are the same. I want to give the distinction. And even they, Fatou can agree, it's never the same. Because why? The guy told me they have a budget that they want to seek donors. So we had a heated 30 solid minutes debate, including me and members of the NASA. They had me very well, those who were following. When it happened, the guy told me that we are writing, but now we want to put female FGM. I said, no, let's put female circumcision. And you write to the donors and support. A 30 minutes heated debate. Do you know what the lady told me? He said, when we put female circumcision, we will not have fun. So meaning, the name emanates to get something. But the further name is not a name that is vibrant, that is rich to get something. So ironically, I am pushing to people for them to understand. And what I'm just trying to bank onto is this, these three entities. And if you want to distort the female circumcision belief that I believe, you're distorting my, not even religion, you're distorting my culture. Because in female circumcision, we have another important thing called initiation. You're a Mandinka, I'm a Jola, Fatou, maybe it's a Fula, we all know. You know, you cannot go to female circumcision without initiation. You cannot be initiated without female circumcision. So now when you ban, if for example, they said FGM is banned, I will not bring a bill. I will not bring a bill. The bill is not banning FGM. The connotation of the bill is about banning female circumcision. And in that female circumcision, my religion is tampered. In that female circumcision, my culture is harmed. In that female circumcision, what I should be able to empower and enrich who I am and my origin is hampered. So now, Section 33(3) of the Constitution, discrimination. So when you discriminate, what are you trying to say? If you bow myself in my religious context, Section 25(c)(1), what I tell you, Section 32 of the Constitution also empowered me in my belief as my culture. So the way to tell people is, in the whole aspects, for me, I am ever committed, and I'm on air. I do tell people, he said the heating struggle of a man in a process. So this is just a small iota of my struggle. And this struggle will remain, so far this law is there. The law, there are different ways that we could be able. We want to educate the activists to understand our role and our standing point.
Honorable, you know, as National Assembly members, when the bill came, there were a lot of debates from politicians, from religious leaders. I had the privilege of interviewing people from different camps. Imam Fati, my Fati, yourself, and other people who are also pro the ban, right? And it was tabled for the committee to go and do a research and do a report. They went and talked to people, because for the first time, you know, I have seen the National Assembly take its time, because this topic is a very sensitive topic. And the National Assembly was really crazy, because to be honest, we have seen people pro and against. You know, when you listen to some women who are against FGM, you're like, that's it. You listen to others who are for FGM, you're like, okay, where do I stand? But the National Assembly took it very serious and took it to the committee, and the committee went on a research. They even went on a trip, and I saw people say, that trip was paid for by the activists. But they went on a research and also came up with a report. The report, we said, interviewed so many people, I think 140-something people, a sample. And majority of those people said FGM/C is harmful to women, young women. And based on that, the Assembly voted. And the law, your bill was rejected. Now, will you say that that research, that report that your committee, your colleagues brought, you were not satisfied with the content of that report?
Generally, I think if I am on record, you could follow my debate at the Assembly. I was very blunt, and that was the fact. We know the committee members. For example, the reason why we could not adopt and the bill continues to the third reading was we unanimously, out of the whole assembly, 42 voted for it to be sent to Gender and Health Committee. But the main objective was the bill is not for Egyptians. The bill is not for Westerners. The bill is not for activists. The bill is for Gambian people.
The activists are also part of Gambia.
Why do I say is activists is a chunk within the setup.
Okay.
What we told them is we have 7 regions in the country, not so?
Yes.
That is, we are giving a chance. Go and explore the Gambian people. They fail. The people of Nyomi, if you ask them, they don't know nothing. You go to Badibu, they don't know nothing. You go to Basse, CRR, LRR, West Coast, nothing. You call an activist group of Fandema Kafo or Islamic Enlightenment Society, Supreme Islamic Council as a body. Now, out of 194 consultative, groups that they've invited, it's only 3 that you may think and say, okay, these are the religious connotation part. That is Islamic Enlightenment, Association for Islamic Solidarity, and Supreme Islamic Council. The rest are people who are funding, who are sponsoring, and who are also calling National Assembly to discourage them onto female circumcision. So when you invite them, you expect that it will take a whole thing. So this was why the report was overshadowed by these people. But I believe so. For example, now, if they are factual, I told the committee, and you can follow my records in the Assembly, I told them clearly that this report is borrowed. Do you know why? Fatou, we are just about completing the report now. You see activists, cutting a sentence or a phrase within the report and putting them in their social media Twitters. How did they get this report? That inside, immediately we said, dawn, people get up to go, you see them. I have a lot of activists, their numbers, in their own social media, whatever, rolling. So that's why I said it was cooked to favor them. It was doctrine for their belief. Because the reason why I say so, if, for example, West Coast, they had set up, because in committees, a rental bill of Madi Sise, they had to go the whole country. Because this is something. Yeah. And this is a national cake, not a Western cake. Now, for example, you go and invite the American Embassy, UNHCR, UNICEF, whatever. Those people whom you know, they've been fighting against the cause. And now, in as much of a concern, the Ngansimbas are not even invited. The religious leaders is only Supreme Islamic Council. No imam was invited. Do you understand? And again, no traditional leaders. We all know traditionally the chiefs and the alcalos. None of them are invited. People of the country, they don't went through the country. They went to Egypt. And in Egypt, which you know prevalently, 93% are people who are doing worse than what we are doing. In the research, they're even doing type 3. And now when they went to Egypt, those elites that had a rendezvous with the Supreme Islamic Council is the same people. So now you could see the connection. Who is controlling what? We are not dumb. That's why I do tell people that whatever you want to portray to defeat the purpose, it will not work. So in so doing, I realized that the report is not fit for purpose. I told them, it is borrowed. It is not in the wish and aspiration of the Gambian people. If it is me alone, I'll tax them that let them go back and face the people. But do you know why they refuse to go to Gambians and face Gambia? They know if they go, what the Gambians will speak will not favor them. And a lot of interference. Embassies that are not even predominantly Gambian interfere a lot into this. So this is why, and I am also part of the bill. I met a lot of them. A lot of sitting that I have, even meetings with a lot of them, my position was very clear. So in so doing, I am seeing to it that it's not a report that you can term. It's a report that is well cooked, because among all the stakeholders, tangos and whatever, women's will, whatever, fighting against whatever, gender-based violence, you name them a lot. They are the people who attended this. So now, if you say, for example, hey, okay, the Health and Gender Committee had a wider consultation, I said to them, and I told the committee chair, say a stakeholders consultation, but not a Gambian consultation. My people in Foni are left at the dark. West Coast, LRR, CRR, North Bank, URR, KMC, BJL, no rendezvous meeting had to them. So now, if you bring this chunk bill, an empty bill of such, which is full with Western connotations, and again, the well-defined of what it touches. And the other saddest thing, Fatou, I can give you a 16-page report. 16-page report, where, you know what reporting is all about. When you report something, even me, my message is not even captured anywhere. Supreme and Council, their message is not captured anywhere. So it is only the activism and their connotations and what they cook to make sure it happens. It was only that. And secondly, if they said it's harmful, I believe you come with empirical evidence. Out of 2022, 2023, so and so and so happened. This number of women died out of this. No record of that. Zero. No, not that. Harmful. How many people are harmful on this? No data. How many people have faced in delivery situation? No data. You understand? So now, you want to give me a blank report, reading sentences and phrases without evidence? And out of that, a guy who we know today in the Gambia, two of them, Dr. Bitte and Dr. Keita, very clear. Dr. Bitte thought he would just come to beautify this. I had a rendezvous with him. Give me data. Nothing. So Dr. Keita told him very clear in his submission. Dr. Keita's information was not even captured.
In the report.
In the report. So now I wonder, what are they reporting? Because what I do tell people, we have to be honest to ourselves. You know, for me, what I do believe is, in as much as you have an agenda, you want to push an agenda, but you have to be very factual. And when you look at the outward report, when you look at the report, you'll even laugh and say this was just like, it was a game. Out of all this, none was featured. And you come and say, for example, okay, based on this, we abandoned this. On what? How many people died? As what? Nothing. How many people were harmed in this? Nothing. How many people are also affected in this? Nothing. So you expect me to come and believe a report, just ironically. And I now tell you, this is one of the most, I do tell people, you know, since I started Parliament, I have not seen an empty report of such. Because why? You base report on facts. You base report on reasonable, you know, make research onto outside reasonable doubt. But none of those things are there. So you expect me to come and vote. So now when they voted the report, I saw a lot of activists jumping. I said, look at them, they don't even know what they are jumping. They are only jumping because of maybe it has favored them. But actually I can tell you, this is an empty report that has no scientific backing.
So that's what you believe. But Fatou, that's what he believes, and I've heard him say that in the National Assembly. Fatou, now, you said something that was very important. People are congratulating you, but you don't feel like celebrating now because the task ahead is huge. And I believe so too. After the bill was rejected, I saw mixed reactions. And that was very concerning. I saw women who went through circumcision, who are telling me they will take their kids tomorrow. I saw women saying, you better open the prisons. We are all going to the prisons because we will take our kids. I've seen a woman who said, you know what that means? You have more work to do to convince all of those women, to enlighten them, and to also teach them on evidences that you have. And I think you should start with Honorable, because he is telling you, I had him on the National Assembly floor, and I can tell you he has convinced so many Gambians. The country is so divided on this issue. I have seen people who are against FGM, but because of some of the experts these people have brought in, somebody like Dr. Sia, the lady we had her here on twice, I saw somebody when he listened to that lady, she told me, Fatou, trust me,
Okay.
And you guys have a lot of work to do. Yes.
Yeah, thank you. I have a lot of things. Before I answer your question,
great.
I want to respond to some of the things that the Honorable highlighted.
Yeah.
Please also, I want you just to understand that it is really difficult for me as a woman, but also as a survivor of FGM, to sit and listen to men trying to explain what FGM is or is not. A man who would never understand what it feels like to go through any form of female genital mutilation or cutting.
I went through FGM myself.
So it is really upsetting to hear when men try to trivialize that pain of women. Honorable is saying that there was no consultation. There have been consultations. And for me, I really want to commend the committee. With the short time frame that they had, they worked really hard. We had survivors across the country. So maybe actually, Honorable, it's your people that didn't do as much work as we did. We went out at the communities. We brought community members to the parliament to speak. Gambian women were consulted. We are Gambian women. I am a Gambian woman. There were several Gambian women that came. But of course, what the pro-FGM really wanted was to have, when the Honorable talks about bringing community leaders, who are those community leaders? Who are the alcalos? Who are the community leaders? They are all men. Why should we listen to men with issues that are affecting women? And I think really this is the reality. The hard fact is, for the first time, Gambian women came out and showed our dissatisfaction of how men continue to manipulate the system to control our bodies. For the first time, Gambian women came out and said, no, we are not going to have a group of men stand up and determine what happens to our bodies and that of our children. And that was this fight. And for us, we knew this was not just about female genital mutilation. We knew what was at stake if this bill was repealed. We knew very much so that if this bill was repealed, they will come after the child marriage law. In fact, we were fearful that the next minute they will say girls' education should be banned. We've seen how in other countries, how the bodies of women and girls have been used by certain individuals to gain power and momentum. And we were not going to allow that to happen. Gambia is enjoying a democratic dispensation. We are being celebrated globally as a country that is rebuilding human rights, and women have to be part of that right as well. And for me, one of the hypocrisies of all this conversation, when this whole issue started, the parliamentarians, the pro-FGM camp, the religious leaders, everyone said they wanted evidence from Gambians. We came. We provided our evidence. You are giving me example of Dr. Sia Fombai, the lady that came here. So why is it that all of a sudden, after we Gambian women came out and spoke our truth, all of a sudden our truth was not enough?
Oh, no. We had interviews several. I had Dr. Ture here. I had Dr.
I'm saying generally.
Okay, yes.
So why?
I guess it's because before there was no other person from the other camp.
Yeah, but we were told you don't want evidence from outside. This is what we were told.
She's not Gambian? I don't know.
No, she's not Gambian.
Oh, okay.
She's not Gambian.
Okay.
She was born and raised in the US. She's a privileged woman who will never understand. As much as she tries to understand Gambian women, she is never going to understand the realities of Gambian women because she is a privileged woman born and raised in the US. She wasn't even raised in Sierra Leone. She was raised in the US. How can her experience be our experience? And about terminology, I do appreciate that the Honorable keep emphasizing that for him, he was talking about circumcision. But for us, as far as we are concerned, any form of cutting is mutilation. Any form of alteration to the women's body. I think that the fact that we kept using sunnah and nyaka tota and all that, these are words that we use to try to trivialize, to minimize the way that FGM harms people. And we as activists, if they call us activists, but people who are promoting women's rights and well-being, we see the harm in cutting or circumcision or whatever terminology. And the Gambia is not an island. We are part of the international community. And the terminology that is used to describe what happens to the bodies of girls is female genital mutilation. Because of the bill, I've been using circumcision to align the conversation, but as of today, I'm going to continue using female genital mutilation because mutilation is what happened to Gambian bodies, Gambian women and girls. Additionally, Honorable talked about teaching the initiation where girls are taught behaviors. The reality is now Gambians are being caught at 1 week old. Yeah. How do you teach a 1 week old how to behave as a woman? No. The reality is that is what is happening at the community level. And the reality, Fatou, you cannot tell me you haven't met a woman in this country who hasn't been stitched, who hasn't been fataro, the one that they block.
I mean, yeah, we have had stories like that. Yes.
We have that. So it's actually upsetting to hear men saying that we don't do this, we do small cuts. For us, as I said, for us, we are not accepting any form of cutting or pinching or anything. Leave girls' genitals the way they are. We are not accepting any part of that. That's our stance. And we are glad that the National Assembly saw that, they listened to Gambian women and girls. And of course, I do appreciate that female genital mutilation or circumcision is a deeply rooted practice. Yeah. And we do not expect that just this conversation is going to change people's mindsets. No. And this is why organizations like ours and many other civil society organizations, we are determined to go and have dialogues and work with our communities to educate our communities. What we want is to educate our communities to an extent that they don't need lawmakers to decide for them what they should do or not, especially when it has to do with their bodies. So we hope that they will understand how FGM harms them, that they would be the very ones that do away with the practice rather than having to go through the law and all that. And that is our priority. To go back, as I speak to you now, our team are in the community, educating people, trying to speak to people to understand how do we bring more people on board so that they understand the harm of FGM. Of course, we appreciate that it's been here for centuries. There has been a lot of misconceptions around the practice. So we have a lot of work to do, and we will continue doing that. And we hope that all these people will be able to bring them on board so that we can end the practice completely.
Father, I want to help her in the issue of Sia. Maybe she didn't make her research properly. Sia was a married woman, married to the former Captain Kambi. Of Captain Kambi, that soldier who works in MRC then. Oh, Brikama, Then he's from Keneba.
Okay, yeah, but he's residing in Brikama. Okay, you know, he just passed, right? Some time back.
Exactly. So that's why she's saying the lady knew what she is, and the lady is well informed. And they've also made a lot of research papers. She works in the MRC, and I will also supply her data in which the 5 things that you need to know about female circumcision or FGM. I will supply her data so that it will.
But if you guys are saying the report was important from Egypt, they're also saying this lady that you guys also brought is not Gambian.
They would rather
I'm just trying to put her. If she says she's not a Gambian, I want to qualify as somebody who is married in the Gambia and worked in the Gambia, and has also worked with UNICEF as a country coordinator in certain areas in the area that she belongs. So I just want to qualify to understand. She could also be a half Gambian. People are losing their job because they have US citizenship. What do you call them? I'm just trying to put it to her.
Are you trying to say?
No, I'm just trying to. Just wait.
We are half Gambian.
I'm just telling her. If she says so, maybe if she is, I don't say she is. If she has a US citizenship, she is not more Gambian than others. There are people who they lose their job today or they resign because they have US citizenship. And we all know the father mother is a Gambian. But why is it her? So the other thing that I also want to put into connotations, FGM is a money-making venture. Why do I say so? For example, no, I'm telling you, clarity. I met with activists. You want to report or write something to gain money. You are telling me that if you don't put FGM, you will not have funding. So now I conclude, I ask her why. Because what I believe is, tell them that these people is about female circumcision. But he said, no, if I don't put FGM, I will not be funded by my donors. They believe that it's FGM. That's why I'm qualified to put it straight. if the activists are ready to uphold and work towards, how about the majority? I can tell you, 75 to 80 people, Gambians, are into this. The reason why I said the approach is messed up, I believe so. You work on activism. You know what activism is all about. Today, Fatou will not only come to Kerr Fatou and be talking as an activist. Why is he saying that they send people to the provincial Gambia, villages and communities? Why?
Create awareness.
So now, secondly, I believe the standing point of gauging and getting proper reaction and making the sleeping dog to lie is by meeting the community, going back to them, that this is what is in place. As a committee, we are tasked by the National Assembly members that this is what is at stake. And I can tell you for free, they will not be able to change the narrative of the Gambian people because they miss the step that they're supposed to take.
Honorable, now this is law. I mean, I remember in 2015 when this law was passed, a lot of people believe, you know, that it was Jammeh just used the National Assembly to pass the law that he wanted. A lot of people said that. But now when you brought the law, like she said, though, right? Whether we're in or against it, it went through a process. And it was one of the most engaged bill ever in this National Assembly. People for and against spoke up. And it went through a process. People lobbied. Maybe they were better lobbying, they had better lobbying tactics than you. And they got the law passed.
And
now,
pay, house pocketing.
But now, it is the law of the land. It is the law of the land. How do we go from here in enlightening our people that it is the law until you're able to bring another law? It is the law now. How do we go about it now?
Actually, for me, what I believe, National Assembly working in the law is a process. I could tell you for Gambia participate. When the former legislature passed a law in making sure they could secure loan, they took it to courts, not so?
Yeah.
And they won.
Oh.
And now I am telling you, we have various steps. You could bring another bill to Parliament. I can tell you for this free. In parliamentary process, let me just say earlier, in parliamentary process, you can even say, okay, I want to bring a bill to paint the sky. It is not the business of anybody. It is you to bring a bill to paint the sky. So, the bill failing doesn't mean that's the end of the life. Somebody can suggest and bring another progressive bill. Somebody can suggest and say, okay, I don't want this or this, I'm taking this to court. Somebody can suggest and say, okay, I think when we are going now, let's look for how do we canvass to have people who will come next time in parliamentary or in governance that will hold firm to make sure that this bill goes. I can tell you, the Labour Party in England, how long does it take them for it to be on leadership?
Almost
so I can tell you for free that actually we are ready. And now let me tell you very clear. I want to make this empirical clear.
Yeah.
We will not subdue to the pressure of the West in any form of this. Do you know this pressure is because of the West? The president is tangled at the back. Organizations will call people. Embassies will call people. For me, I had a lot of rendezvous with a lot of them. Do you know what I do tell them? For me, you cannot take me anywhere. I'm from the village. And the concept of this law, I'm not doing it for my own self. But what I believe, and what the thing that I know that I will not, and I can tell you for free, Fatou, when you watch back around September last year when Suleiman brought Matter of the Day.
Yes.
I could sense you to understand the game. This whole thing is a game. When it brought in Parliament, if that was the day that this bill was,
it would have been.
It was history.
Yes.
But now, what has changed?
What has changed?
That's what I'm saying.
That's where I wanted to come in.
Come to me.
Do you know that? Do you understand now? Wait, I can help her. One, because she is also part of that change. Do you know what I? Yeah. Do you know what I told her? If we are not sober enough, we could render to this country into coerce. So you can bear witness with me. A bill is already proposed, not even in Parliament, that this bill will come this session, this time. She went and organized canvas her people. I can tell you for free, she's my sister. I have to put it to her. If, for example, this country has become into flames, she will be #1 cause of it. Do you know why?
Ooh.
Yes.
Why?
Because now, it is a parliamentary day. a parliament session, not activism. I confronted the office of the clerk. Why would you allow her with her people to wear t-shirts and banners inside parliament? For example, now, the premises of parliament, not in chambers. You know, it's different between chambers and side of the parliament.
Okay.
So she organized her people. When I told her she wanted this, I saw her pictures. The following day, people said, no, if activists can wear and go to parliament and show their anger that the bill is coming, we want to show the whole world that we are against this bill. How about us? I said, we are Muslims. And we are traditionalists. Our teaching and doctrines doesn't hold into demonstration. We have a day waiting. Let's wait for that day. When it comes, go and attend and see the sitting. But they went camouflage. They don't show as they are entering that they have this. They file their bags and whatever, hide them. Do you see what she did? And now when they came, they saw up. NFGM, whatever this case. I said, Fatou. I confronted her. Even in parliament, I said, now look at this. What does she show? This is a bill that is not even, it is initiated, going to be part of the order paper. So they just, that's why I'm telling them.
It seems like you were the first to pull the first surprise. When I saw Imam Fati and others came with, the group came, I was like, ooh.
Can I have to respond? Because that is a very strong allegation, Honorable.
Yes.
That is a very strong allegation.
And I have evidence.
No, please.
Not allegation.
I
have evidence of that.
Can I
give her the pictures and the date. And they are parading at the
Can I come?
Yeah.
You've made very strong allegations. And I've confronted you before about this conversation.
And I show you the evidence.
No, about me going to the parliament. Yes, I mobilized. I went to the parliament. Good. It wasn't a day that was it was a parliamentary day where citizens could go to the parliament and talk of any issues that they wanted to ask their parliament.
That is not table. It has
May I finish, please? May I finish, please? Yes. That was why that space was organized. You said I am an activist. I am a very good activist. Just like we've shown you that we were ready to kill that bill of yours, that we were going to make sure 100% that that ban wasn't going to be lifted in this country, that we were not going to allow our girls, our little girls, to be mutilated under any circumstance. That is why I mobilized, and I am very proud that I did that, and I will stand anywhere to really raise my hand to say that what I did, I fought for the girls of this country. I could have actually sat back because I know I've ended FGM in my family. I know that even if I had a daughter today, she would never be caught. But I chose as a survivor, as a Gambian woman, to make sure that we will not allow for men to stand up and make decisions on stuff that are going to affect generations of girls in the future. So we've seen equally a lot of threats, a lot of different conversations openly. At least I went to a safe place. I mobilized civil society organizations. We went peacefully. We went into the parliament with our t-shirts on a parliamentary day with our banners to say we want this law to remain. And I am proud I did that. And I want history to remember me for that. And I am very proud I did that. And I am very proud that I contributed to make his bill fail. And I know it's a very strong, but equally, Honorable Gibba always accuses us of us activists and everything. Just like we've had the reason why he brought this bill is because he's failed the promises, his campaign promises in his constituency. He hasn't delivered any of those. That is why he brought back this bill as a way to really gain momentum in his constituency. So we've had that too, but we don't go attacking you on those, Honorable Gibba, because we respect you. You call us activists. You call me an activist. Honorable Gibba, you're not more educated than me. You are not smarter than me. I have my qualifications. I could be doing any job. You're sharing a platform with me.
Job.
Yes, but that's the other thing, because all the time, this is what people from the pro-FGM or people who fight women's rights or human rights often use this argument that the reason we are activists is because we're using it for money making. Let me make one thing categorically clear. I am not a volunteer. I work. I am a very smart and intelligent woman. I have a bachelor's degree. I have a master's degree. I am currently doing my PhD. I could be doing any work. I could be doing any work I want. But I chose to do this. Yeah? And FGM cannot be ended. Just like any form of discrimination, any form of violence against women cannot be ended without investment. So we are going to get funds. We are going to make sure we mobilize. We are going to make sure we go to the communities, not just addressing female genital mutilation, but addressing different forms of gender-based violence to make sure we have more women like me who will stand. We are going to empower girls. You know, what did he call it? Initiation, the empowerment of girls and stuff. We will make sure we create more great women like me who will stand and continue to fight for this country, because that's the only way we are going to advance this country. And if that's what you call us, let that be. But I had to respond to that.
Yes, as he said, for me, you know, the notion as he said, me, I represented my people very well on my master's degree. So I'm also not a flip-flop MP that they can put at the pocket. If I wanted so, it could have been history. And secondly, she didn't even know my constituency.
You're from Foni, Kansala.
Who doesn't know your constituency?
That I've brought for 2 years. I have 440-something scholarship. You go to my constituencies, most of the villages are into access to clean drinking water. Talk of irrespective of scholarship assistance. So what their notions are, she could have dwelled and said, what campaign promise? Because for me, I believe, one, in my religious context, and also the Christianity that are there, I don't segregate. I support them, I support my religion. Talk of mosque, talk of a lot of issues that today, Foni, I can say, even when Jame was there, I can tell you for free, most of the day, they could not have that as an MP standing for them. I know the suffering of my people, and I've wiped the tears of my people. And I do tell people, even in ends these 5 years, I am suddenly okay because what I stood for my people. So in the general notion, what's he saying? That men are standing for women. If women are misleading people, the life of Dr. Aissatou Touré. No, just wait. I'm telling you, because the problem is, wait, I'm telling you, because I have to qualify. Wait, because the problem now that I'm saying to you, she has told me in Peter's interview, saying modesty, that they want to work on the modest aspects. She's an activist. No, wait, she's an activist. Talking of laws or issues that they think they could put the woman to go off. Even in her narration, she normally said, Fatou told me in a conversation that she wanted to meet me. That it was when he went to UK for studies. That's the time he realized about this FGM thing. She told me in a conversation in the office, in the minorities office. Of course. Just wait. Okay. So now, with the period that she has lived, she has no idea of the harms and effects. Do you understand? And most of those people that they are now putting feathers on, their daughters are all circumcised.
We are all circumcised.
Do you understand? No, I'm just trying to say, I know. But now, what I'm telling them, no activist will say that I am mutilated. Do you understand? What the distinction that I want to qualify is, if you're to be a straightforward guy, you can't be hitting the roofs. We will continue advocacy. We will also continue to make sure that our rights based on the Constitution are not violated. We are not discriminated. And we will stand firm.
You did not do a good job, Honorable. Let me come here. You did not do a good job as to how they did, because
not about a good job.
No, let me say why I'm saying that. When this bill came, the first day this bill was
tabled,
even before the bill, the first day Suleiman Saho brought this issue up, the reaction of the National Assembly, all of us thought the bill was, whoever brought this, that day, they would have lifted the ban, right? Now, the numbers were on the side of those who wanted to lift it. And you are in the house with these people. Parliamentary is about
numbers.
Not numbers, it's about campaigns. But I saw people in NPP.
It's about lobbying, and we were better. We were better fighters. That's what I was
saying. I saw people that at MPP, women, National Assembly, Honorable, my aunties, Honorable Fatou and Honorable Maimuna Sise, and so many other women people.
I can tell you the history.
Who wanted this bill lifted, because, you know, look, I said this most of the time. I am a circumcised woman. My children will never be circumcised. My immediate family children, I've said this with Imam and everybody, they will not. But I am for one thing that I don't want is, For example, I told Aissatou Touré here, when they arrested that lady, how she was treated, I felt like, you know, when there's certain ways, I in fact said this in a conversation we had with the American Embassy. I said, for me, my issue with some of the way us people who advocate for this is our communication. If I am from a cultured Mandinka family, if you tell me that they are arrogant, I'm not going to join your fight because you're insulting my grandmother.
And that's the key thing that
you're insulting my father, you're insulting my family. I'm not going to join that fight because I'm a cultured woman. But I'm not going to take my children. My children's children, but you insult my people who do it, I'm not going to join the fight. And I said this when we had that meeting.
Can I just step in there?
I think that is important,
wait,
right?
let me just help
I think that is...
She asked me a question. I have to address that before you come in. You're the last one. I have to help her.
I don't need your help.
I need to school her very well. In issues of tradition.
Excuse me, you cannot school me.
In traditional aspects, in the Western connotations, whatever. So I have to help her. Now listen, what you're saying is very clear.
Yeah.
What happened? No, you asked me a question. No, you asked me what happened.
Wow.
You know, I'm telling you. Thank you. Now, you know the problem is, very clear.
On your side,
no, the problem is very clear.
The whole assembly was on the side.
It was a clear moment. Threats were coming with government. Listen to me very well.
Okay.
President Barrow came to his State of Nation address.
Yes.
Do you know and do you know that MPs were called to book and tax that don't vote for this? Clear evidence of MPs.
Okay.
But it was only sold one brave MP, Omar Dabo, who said, one, I will not bend my culture. I will not bend my religion.
He voted for it?
He voted for the repeal.
The repeal, okay.
So I can tell you that the whole source, they can say, you know, we did our work, whatever. Yes, they can do their work and lobbying. But if the head of state had said today that anybody, if whatever your people says, you do it, me, I'm out of it. He had Western pressure. America embassy meeting, UN meeting, you know, how to call it, Guterres of UN, you know, sending messages, special aid, whatever. Not only them, Guterres of UN. You see the interest groups?
Yeah.
America embassy, UK, whatever, threats all over, cutting aid to support the government. We will cut aid. So a whole of this thing cumulated together to make sure that, because in Parliament, as you have said, Parliament is all about numbers.
Yeah.
And NPP is in numbers, and they have some affiliated independent who had shipped the bandwagon to them. This was the reason, though their activism also works. But I can tell you, if it is activism alone, it's not going to happen. The president had to use his veto powers to put MPs to book. That I will not face this trial of cutting aid threats, UN, Guterres and others talking, we'll sanction this, we'll sanction this, we'll sanction this. You know, it's only a resilient leader who believes in what he thinks will say, do you know what? I'm not going to interfere. And as the look of things, I can tell you, you know, all those MP who voted, today their constituencies, they are facing a lot of blames into what they don't like. Because today, Fatou, you may vote for me. You are a president.
Yeah.
You're voted by people. She's an MP. Maybe you nominated her. And me, I am voted by a constituency.
Yeah.
If my constituency said, Honorable, for this, we are out, what do you think will stand?
And this is where I wanted to come with Fatou.
So these are issues that are, but now the problem is, the reason why I just want to, when I see them celebrating, I just laughed.
Well, the band
you know, but the problem now, what I'm saying is, it was the veto of the president. The president had to make sure use his power to talk to every MP. Do you know what I said? Me, I don't want this, but for me, you know, they have hold my back. I have to surrender. I have to surrender. I have to surrender. So the surrendering aspect is something is somewhere, but that person also is also onto somewhere being marked and said, this must happen. We've seen papers, we've seen press releases, UN agencies going to the president, leaning onto it, going to gender, whatever.
That is what it's called lobbying.
So actually,
you wanted to come in here. That's what.
Honorable, just accept that for now, this bill has been maintained.
It's a law.
It's been maintained. And you know, Honorable has also said that, yes, we've had several conversations on this whole issue. And for me, I will acknowledge, and we've had this conversation about the terminology on several occasions, and why I have chosen to use female genital mutilation. Of course, in our context... So you want to throw my terminology? No, please, just allow me. Female genital, for me too, equally, I wasn't aware of female genital mutilation terminology-wise until I was doing my degree. That's the first time I heard about female genital mutilation. But unlike now, I was never privileged to join civil society organizations or activists or spaces where I learned about FGM. So until I was in that environment, yes, at the beginning for me too, I was taking back with that terminology because I didn't know it. But once I got to understand more about female genital mutilation and what it does, that's when I took the stance to advocate against the practice. And we spoke about this, and I actually told him, yes, initially I felt uncomfortable with the term mutilation because I had not heard about it before. Until when I had, but when I looked it up, actually the definition of mutilation is what happens here. Our studies are showing us that in the Gambia, FGM type 2 is the most common. Go and look at the latest, you're asking for data, go and look at the latest mix, the multiple indicator cluster survey. It shows that the most common type of FGM in the Gambia is FGM type 2, which involves the removal of the whole clitoris and the labias. That is the most common. That is what the evidence is showing. So how can you sit and say that we don't know circumcision, or we don't know mutilation, we do circumcision? But the data is showing you that's not what's happening. And the Honorable keeps going on about his rights, his constitution, his culture. You have those rights, but when those rights actually harm other people, that's where your rights stop. And that's what FGM does. Yes, you are allowed to practice your culture and your religion, but if that your practice puts harm on other people, then that's where your right stops. And that is what FGM does. The Constitution also gives women and girls protections. And you cannot take that protection from us because you claim it is your cultural right. It cannot happen. And that's why your bill failed. And we want to use this opportunity, now that that bill has failed and we are maintaining the law, it is a law, as Fatou has said. We need to work together to make sure that our communities actually do away from the practice, because as a lawmaker, you cannot already have a law and go and ask people to break that law. That will be very, very unlike an MP. And we really hope that now that we've really worked and come to this stage, that you will drop this conversation about circumcision, about cutting. We've told you what happens in the Gambia is that girls are mutilated. And we've shown you evidence. So come on our side, let's fight together, let's build our nation, rather than spending so much time deciding whether girls' genitals should be cut or not. I believe as a country we have a lot of work to do. Come and help us and get more women into the National Assembly for the next election. And that is what we want to work on. We don't want to spend our energy having this fight.
The issue that I want to help her is this.
Don't help me, Honorable. Come and help me.
Of what she's saying.
You want to help her in
women in leadership,
in going and having a conversation.
Now the point that I want to emphasize here is this.
More information.
You know, whatever she's saying, Fatou, me, I made my research. I went to major hospitals. No data, single data. You go to public and they will not give you any empirical data. Mix, as he's saying, ask her when. Upon years and years.
Because mix is done every 5 years.
Doctrine data, we don't face ourselves with this. And now, you go to hospitals. Dr. Keita is one of the best gynecists in the country today. And she had made a research. 20 years ago, she has served more than 20 years.
Ghana.
Not in Ghana, Senegal.
20 years ago in Ghana.
I'm saying. He has served 20 years plus in the medical field in the Gambia. A doctor who has served 20 years in the medical field in the Gambia said she has not seen any of such what they are claiming. And for me, my little research that I went to hospitals, Fatou, they will not tell you that it's here. They will not give you. So now, how do you want to put me into that? Secondly, I made a conversation with Dr. Bite. She said she would supply me over 45 minutes. I said, supply me with data. Not available. How many deaths is it causing? Not available. How many women is it affecting in delivery? Not available. Let me tell how to call it. Fatou to understand. Me, I have a wife. I have 2 boys and 2 girls. Every delivery, I participate. My wife has not even spent 1 hour. If it delays, he will even do it at home. There was another one that he did at home on her own. And in all hospitals, no trial, nothing, no bleeding. So now, if he's saying, I'm not about taking the lead of women, but if I know if they are doing a misconception, and they're inflating, putting into words of people that is not true, we will tell them be right. Some of them are young activists whom we know they don't even know their left and right because of our influential aspects. Because the reason why I say so, you ask them, how long did you start this? They say, okay, 2 years ago, 5 years ago. There are others whom we know they have started way beyond 80s. But they say, for example, today I know, if Father, what is he saying, for example, the bill didn't pass. It is a law. For example now, if I am in government, I want to be sincere. I want to take an approach. If I cannot attack and say, okay, I want to bring another law to subdue this one, or I want to take this to court to make sure I challenge this one, if I believe that I should be silenced, I should be silenced forever. But I should not wait until maybe I am no more there. Fatou is there. I now come and become a rebellious against some of these issues. Because I believe, sometimes now, what I do tell people, whatever you believe, stand firm to it. But you are in a system. Be quiet. After the system, you want to blow your faces with people.
We are not going there.
What I'm trying to say here is this. It's very simple. Now, as what is he saying about stitching?
Yeah,
no, just what is saying about stitching. We just have an evidence just of now. That Dr. Babanding, whom we know, he just speak today good, tomorrow the other thing. A lady is here, Kumbasinyan, testified in court.
Yeah.
But Dr. Babanding is the one who stitched her.
Yeah.
Now I'm ready as an activist. Take Babanding to court. It's here on paper.
I didn't see that. Anyway,
wait.
Okay.
You know the reason why?
No, I haven't seen that.
I'm just telling you. No, I'm just telling her. I'm just telling her.
Yes.
Now the reason why I say so. This is why I say so. The lady in question had did it. It was a whole lot of shouting that brought this. Do you understand? And I can also tell Fatou, if a person is taken to court because of an abnormal thing doing, we are taxing the activists. And you hear me in newspapers there. Let them take Babanding to court because he went and stitched a girl.
Yeah.
Now the other thing that we've also seen it testifying in court yesterday, and said now this is why he cannot be penetrated because the doctor did her. Now let me tell you what. Do you know what I'm just saying? You thought you are a journalist.
But
just wait.
Yeah, I know.
It's a conversation,
no,
Honorable. You have to have a conversation with us.
I want to help you this. That if you have investigative journalists, it's not a laughing matter. I'm telling you. You help your system. If really what you believe is in the act.
If you say, if I have an investigative journalist.
Investigative journalists, I am telling you, there are hospitals that I want to tell you this.
Yeah.
There are some doctors when they're on call, night call. I want you to go to hospitals. Let that journalists do an investigative journalist thoroughly and watch the queue of young girls going through the process of stitching. It is a norm now. So now, if this is happening, and this is just a blink, I'm telling you, a lot of revolutions will come that this is a norm. That our girls are going through in the medical way of stitching. And the other thing that I also want to...
go on. Okay, but on another...
No, wait, before you come. Type 2. Do you understand? Type 2 is being practiced medically. And today, this lady has confirmed that she was being dead by type 2. Now, in that doing, I am also trying to end this issue here. That with all this circumambulation, I can tell you, female genital cosmetic surgery is done.
I want to respond to that.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
Botox surgery is done. Breast surgery is done. Changing how to call it, a male to a female and a female to a male is done. Now, are those things not human rights violation?
Can I
now the second thing on this,
Honorable, you have the discretion. No, you have to allow us to give her to. You have to allow us to speak.
A man,
It's a conversation.
you change from manhood to a woman and a woman, and they are clapping and saying, "No, these are human rights."
Honorable, don't mix the two. Come,
and she has also said, She has said that if this bill has succeeded, as what she alleged, that the next will now be child marriage.
We'll come to that.
And I'm also telling that, a warning, that they have also tampered so that this bill didn't fail. We are also watching the space of LGBT in the Gambia.
Can I comment? Can I comment?
Yeah.
And this is the propaganda that I've seen the pro-FGM using, trying to the misconceptions that he is accusing activists of spreading. It's the same misconceptions they are spreading, and spreading rumors across this country. But first of all, Honorable, all these things you are listing are things that are done by adults.
What do you mean adults?
You're talking about buttocks surgery, breast surgery.
So you even do that to your body?
That's their choice.
That's what I'm saying. My choice is my religion.
Honorable, let me finish. Let me, because you are confusing people.
No, it's not confusing.
Let her finish.
What happens? Those are grown-up women who decide they want to do that to their bodies. My fight is not about a grown-up woman who wants to go and do cosmetic surgery. What I am fighting is that young girls' genitals must not be cut. Those young girls are not in a stage, are not in an age to give that consent, to have their genitals cut. That is what we are fighting. As for cosmetic surgery and stuff, if you want to go and fight that and attack that, please go ahead. That's not my war. This is my war. But also, Honorable, I'm really concerned about this thing I'm hearing about the stitching of girls. I've never heard of that before.
You not hear it?
Yes, but just...
Because your concentration is one way.
Okay, just allow me.
Only facing Banjo.
No, may I come in, Honorable?
She's only facing Banjo.
No, may I come in,
She's not a
please?
girl, she's an adult.
Yes, may I come in?
She's a woman.
I am concerned about that. What society do we live in? A society that makes put girls so much under pressure that they will have to go and stitch their girls.
Yes.
Why don't we ask those questions? Why are those girls stitching their genitals? Why do they have to go through that?
Allegedly because a man told her.
Because a man told her that she needs to stitch her genitals. What kind of society? And I think now is the time that we confront these root causes. What is putting those girls to go behind, to take that risk, to go and get stitched? What kind of society do we live in? Why don't we confront that?
Can I help you?
As long as you don't bring me your myths and misconceptions.
The problem is very clear.
Yeah.
When you leave your akhlaq and character, your conspiracy aspects of deen, if you leave it, you're very vulnerable. Fatou, we all know we are from a society. And our religious and tradition teaches us modesty.
Yeah.
When that is fainting away, we are doomed. Because now, in the contextual approach, where the girl child is not even been given the morals in which he or she is ought to, based on our traditions and culture. Today, a young girl will be more of Western connotations. And if you move on to, they will say, okay, girls' right, this right, this right. But now, if you look at the genesis in which things are going, everything is going out of hand. That you should not do this. For
and
example,
you want
today,
to control that by cutting girls?
No, that's what I'm saying. Not about controlling, about cutting by girls. For example, now today, when you put that mentality into that girl, her proper Islamic modesty. Number one, we all see what is going. People are almost naked in the street. And they are from homes. Half naked. How do you think a young, very small girl going out of naked with her mom on her side? And now when you, wait. When you ask her, you realize that it is her mom saying, let's go. And the chap is naked. The dad was also holding her own girl going naked. Now, if it grows that mentality, if it teaches in the brain of that particular child, what do you think will have? The child will not realize what is ought to. Morals are fainting away. And now, activism in terms of doing, they will only be concerned what element. For example, women are used as toy, as advertisement in billboards. Billboards. How do you use a woman?
How do you mean as toys?
No, I'm saying a girl will be parading with body naked and now advertise her. Is that not a violation of rights?
I mean, so
if they are grown
up,
if they are adults,
you know what I'm saying here? It depends. It's not about adults. It's not about adults.
So when it comes to,
you need to understand choice.
No, it's not about choice. What I'm just saying, let me have
if an person decides to do something,
let me do this for you. For example, now, number one,
you know,
in Islam, deen, ila dino sa dine. If Islam says this, do you say, my daughter choice?
No.
For example, now, this is it.
Yeah.
In our rich culture, if my culture said this, if my girl child or my boy said this, what would you put in the connotation? A young, small baby girl, go to the hospital. This polio, whatever, that you sometimes you see that the girl will be crying all around. Who is sure that is correct to put in the body of that girl? Do you say that consent?
But that is meant is to protect them.
Protect what? How many of them who are paralyzed in some of this effect?
I know, but it's...
No, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Let's not divert the conversation.
Not divert them.
Yeah.
You know, she said about...
Don't divert the conversation.
In the connotation of what I want to help Fatou to understand, anything that is religious, you don't put their butt and say it age-wise. You tell my daughter that Islam says this, my daughter will now tell me age. Why don't he leave her daughter and say, for example, now, if you grow up, you can now come and choose either you want to learn English, you want to learn Arabic, you want to learn French, you want to buy this, whatever. Why are you coaching? So if you diffuse yourself from that coaching syndrome, you will not get what you want. So that's what I'm saying to you is, in the conversation, that whatever we are asking for, female circumcision is a religious right. And in that religious right, it's also not a force, but me as my belief, and what I want to do my daughter as a belief of my religion, it should not deviate and others will say, no, you are trying to destroy the child, whatever. So ill issues that are happening into other laws. And if you go to, other laws, it's also saying about a lot of issues about right. So now, you cannot portray me and say, okay, for me, in this issue, I should not. But for you, it's a violation of right. But now you can now do whatever you like. That one right is controlled, but my right. In religion, I don't have any issue and said, but if Islam, the Prophet ﷺ and Allah and the Prophet ﷺ said this, me, I don't put their but there.
Yeah, Fatou, I wanted to comment, and this is very important, and I don't know how is it going to make your work difficult, because, for example, I've seen this, a friend of mine and I were talking about this, and he says, you know, Fatou, there's one thing, if you follow this, Almameh and others, even Imam Fati, this is our religious right, and that is guaranteed by the Constitution, you know, and your right to believe, right to practice, right to perform your religious right. And that is constitutional right? And that's why and it's now and this person said to me, as parents, you make a choice for your children, what school they go to, what, you know.
But that doesn't harm them.
I'm just saying this.
It harmed them. Let me tell you that.
No, it harmed them.
A school because it harms.
Now, for example,
I told you that.
If a lot of people are looking at this in this way, you have to, and at this stage we all know, you know, majority of Gambians believe in practicing FGM, and we have seen how now with this conversation, we have seen exactly what is happening in our societies. People who would not even talk about it now are talking about it. How is this going to make your work difficult to go out there in those communities and have this conversation and be sensitive to the point of convincing? And I think the first person you should start with is Honorable, because he has a platform.
Okay.
A big platform. He can be on Kerr Fatou, on any other media house, and speak like this. Imam Fati has that platform, and other people who are speaking this, and once they speak, they are still convincing people. How are you and other people going to work to convince a majority of the people to believe that this is harmful? Yes, people have a right to this and this, but when it's harmful, we should look at it from a different angle.
Yeah, thank you. I think first of all, with all the rights that Honorable is referring to, it's very clear. You have those rights, but as I said, those rights also tell you that you exercising those rights stop when you harm somebody. FGM is identified as harming somebody. So you cannot use those rights as an excuse to inflict harm on children. So that makes it invalid. Let him not bother to go to court. Honorable, just drop it here and let's find ways to work together to go back into the communities and educate our people. And don't go further. And second, don't go. We're gonna to work together to go back to the communities and to educate them. We are all tired. You are tired. We are tired. You are tired, Honorable.
I am not tired.
You are tired, Honorable, and I know it. Just allow me to speak. I am very okay. Allow me. But also, Fatou, one thing I want to make clear, this is a misconception that majority of Gambians want to continue cutting girls. This isn't the reality.
Okay.
Yes, we see people.
I mean,
honestly, Fatou, my team right now are in the communities. Okay. We are out in the communities. We are speaking to women. The reality is, many people are like you and me. We are saying our girls will not be cut.
No.
Yeah?
Yes.
This is what I'm hearing from the community. So these few people that Honorable and his gangs are bringing those women to say that we want to continue and that, those are the few spaces you will see online. The reality is Gambians are saying they do not want to continue the practice. We have seen that. Yeah. Unfortunately, this conversation is all driven by men.
Yeah.
It is the men who continue to say that FGM needs to continue. Just give me 1 second, Fatou, because I want to. And also, we've heard repeatedly that they are inciting violence towards us, and that is not acceptable. You know, we've had people take platforms and saying that when activists, when the civil society come to your communities, attack them. Today, my team were in Birkamaba and they were attacked.
Oh, no.
And that is unacceptable.
That is wrong.
You know, at the end of the day, we shouldn't promote violence at any platform, and that's not acceptable. These are young women who respect our culture, who respect our society, but they're out there educating, and they were attacked, and that is not right. But I also want to use this opportunity, because what we have seen, Sister Fatou, and I'm going to say this here, I'm happy that you've mentioned that you've given platform to activists, but from our end, we have been upset because we keep seeing the media platforming people like Honorable and giving them platform and amplifying their voices where we've never been invited to these shows.
No.
Yes.
No.
Honorable, you are not done yet. But the Malawa, come you know feel. And since I got the platform,
you know how many
I have to bring that up.
I'm happy that you brought that up.
I have to bring that up. And that's why I took the advantage when you asked me to come. I'm glad. I cannot say no to you.
Whenever I ask you, you come.
Yes.
When we have
but you've never reached out to me throughout this whole process.
Let me come.
Okay.
To my defense. No, to my defense. To my defense. Man.
Put it to her before she's alleged.
No. To my defense.
I can also
this is public. This is your home.
No.
Not Kerr Fatou. Media. We are general. Most medium houses are giving platform to Honorable Gibba and his crew, and we have been silenced throughout this. Okay,
to our defense. Openly. Fee at Kerr Fatou. Honorable Gibba sa telling ko indi.
It's only one I came here.
The first person I brought, Dr. Aissatou Touré.
Very well.
Buma inde Dr. Aissatou Touré. In fact, you la column, you are not in town, so phone mungi fayon. I remember sending you a message, you were out of town.
Okay.
Ma indi Dr. Aissatou Touré.
Evidence that?
Buma inde Dr. Aissatou Touré, when she came to my show, she mentioned Imam Fati. Mota been way Dr. Touré, manako bulma in the show. When you bring up somebody's name, they deserve a right to respond.
Very well.
And then I brought Imam Fati. Imam Fati, people requested, because they wanted to respond. Imam Fati came because the right to respond. And then after Bobu,
the bill.
Bala bill bidinyosa, I invited Falu.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay,
it's difficult. The truth is,
that's good.
People on your camp, it's difficult to get them. That's the truth.
Okay.
It's difficult. Apart from Jack tried 100 times. At this point, I don't. Because I have a platform.
Exactly.
I'm going to invite you. If I invite you twice, you don't come, I'm not going to invite you. I'm going to have a platform and give it to people who want to come. So I'm saying it here. Jack invited her several times. She did not come. I stopped inviting her because she doesn't come to my interviews.
Maybe they're busy, right?
I guess they're busy. I'm not going to schedule. 2 hours to the show, cancel. That was when I started early on Kerr Fatou. So, Bobo, Benala. And then when I was having one time, they were in the Falu. Alaji Manka will tell you, even this bill, when it came, there were things that Alaji Manka and I were working on.
Okay.
I don't have to tell you.
Of course.
Because Kona Mabuga, Yena, man, as a media person, Munuma.
Understood.
One and a feel about
I know that.
But when people
they can give money, that's it.
They interview everybody because that is the role I should play.
Yeah.
Why you not go down man suma dom do them imam fati talk na fi wona ko suma dom do them
so li nak mo nek ci deka bi ñi lu ñoo wax community bi lool la ñi so len oyé dañu ñew waaw why yeen seen guys len oyé du ñew dina yobu message bi man tamit ñu clarify
up to last minute mané ki na ma ba nañu mané ko Fatou du dé daw suma interview dina ñew yow dam dé ñew why some of them du dé ñew
waaw dinañ wax on that
ñoo dé ñaan pour ñu ñew ci interview so an topic su nekké on and may Fatou tam non la ñëwé won because mom tam Dr Touré la laal bim ko laalé Dr Touré mu ne dafa ñëw ci ëllëg mu ñëw and after bobu sen gaay kenn ñëwul so that's how it is happen
understood
so no
na yobu ka
why la buga indil ma sa gaay
baxna dina ñëw
for me what I want
one thing I wanted to bring honorable
what no let me
now what if violence be honorable
let me answer it from there. I'll come to that.
Wow, okay. Please.
You know what I just want to tell her to be honest, me it was the first time that you even call. What I told you, I said, Fatou, I tell you if you could remember. I'm on air. I told you, no, Fatou, I'm very focused in my bill now. He said, no, but honorable, if you are now putting a bill,
and you know what
I don't want people to hear. This is what she told me.
I said, you have to come and tell me.
I said, no problem, then I'm coming.
I
came. And what I want to distort the misleading information that she's saying. They are misleading. Because you know now, listen to other groups. A lot is saying that media is also focusing on them. And now, as you have said, Jaha, do you know how many journalists she has contacted me to meet with them? I had a rendezvous meeting with her. Journalists from Senegal. One thing, there was a journalist of Voice of America. She had to cry. That Tubaba has to cry in front of me. Because I put her in a blunt way. Because for me as a journalist, if you come, you want to put something, I will tell you, are you an activist or you are a journalist? But naked, they are camouflaging themselves into activism, into journalism, when they are activism. So I have a spot. So
a journalist in your son.
No, because what happened is, me when I sit with you, I know straightforward what you hold. So you cannot tell me, say this, Bulwahli, say this, say this. So what Fatou is saying, ñom su fekkee ñeme ñut me
ñun ragal ñun ci dégal
UN Guterres me I can even be at UN and address Guterres and all his camouflage the Western must be informed that they have to sit in their area and mind their business and I'm also telling this the embassies who are here, let them not interfere with our tradition, our religious and our belief based on their interests. They are only here for interests. If, for example, whatever they are pushing into an agenda, if you sit with them, they become so ins to you as if. But when they go outside, what they portray, me, I said with some of them, because what I told them is, you cannot pocket me. You cannot give me what I am supposed to. My mission and vision must be seen to be done. And for me, the general aspect of what she's saying, she had to apologize to you. Your media is one of the most transparent in terms of connecting people. I can tell you, sometimes I even say that, but Fatou, where does Fatou belong? Because you mentioned it invariable. So for example, if you call me and said, Honorable Gibba, come for interview, me, I can remember on issue of female circumcision.
Today I was even begging you.
Exactly. I told them I'm in assembly. So now, I can tell you this. This is the second time of me discussing this matter.
On this platform.
In issues of my invitation, you can be a witness. Issues of politics, issues of my area, this is how. So, for me, in BBC Al Jazeera, I'm everywhere. And for me, I run media. I told them, me, I will never run an interview. And I will even be very glad. Queen Elizabeth, or the Prince, the King Charles, in his rendezvous house, I can even teach him what I mean by female circumcision and my method and my mode of operandi, and I'll be able to. You understand? So now, as I tell them, I responded to the former U.S. Secretary of State, David Cameron. And what I told him, I pray to God, and let him lose his position. And today he's no more. His government is history. And now, I am of focus. Very resilient.
What are you focusing on now?
Yes, now the problem
is... I'm focusing on you there.
Let me help you, sir. Wait, let me help you with this. You know, the reason why I do say people to understand. You know, the Prophet ﷺ narrated by Abu Huraira, he said in a hadith, 5 things are according to are part of faith. That is circumcision. You know, saving the pulvered hairs. Yeah. And also what? Pulling the mustache, and also trimming the mustache, and also clipping the nails. Okay. Now, whoever want to discuss and now fool people and said, yeah, this is not religion or whatever, they are fooling people. Father, you cannot deter me from my religion, and you want me to believe. You know, what I do tell people is, you cannot say to me that, honorable, whatever you believe is not religion. What I'm asking you is religion. So you will not put me into an issue where I'll blackmail myself. The other hadith. Hadith number 779. You know, that is it. If you go to say Bukhari, you'll find it. And now the other hadith 70, reported by Abu Musa, you know, he says, Allah's Prophet ﷺ, there are a wet nurse for him in paradise, and it is Hafsa ibn Abdurrahman. Now, in all these issues, they are now this, and the other one they said, Aisha radiallahu anhu, whom we know, he knows the Prophet of the core. I heard the report of the joint committee saying, the Prophet's daughters, they didn't do it. But they don't bring the evidence that the Prophet, they say the Prophet didn't, but they don't bring the evidence that the Prophet's daughter did do it.
It's in you to bring the evidence.
No, I'm not telling them. You know, when they're disagreeing, the hadith is clear. The hadith, no, wait. No, wait. Let me help her.
Don't help me.
The reason why I'm very clear that this is a hadith that is narrated by Aisha radiallahu anhu. Yeah. He said, if 2 circumcised organs meet, ghusl is wajib. Yeah. Means what's your purification, major purification. Yeah. Ngadem sangu janaba, defa war. Nyari organ. If 2 circumcised organ of male and female
it didn't say male and female.
You understand?
It didn't specify.
Now, for example, if he said 2 circumcised organ met,
it's dependent on interpretation.
What do they mean by that? Generally. If 2 circumcised organ meet, yeah. In circumcision, if 2 circumcised organs meet, you should perform janaba.
If 2 circumcised, okay.
It didn't say male or female.
No, I'm just telling you. It said if 2 circumcised organs.
It's open to interpretation.
So now the Prophet is lying? Aisha is lying?
We didn't say that. We didn't say that.
No, I want to help her so she should understand. And now the other thing, sorry, Fatou, let me help you.
No, wait.
I'll give you this chance. No, wait.
I can recite for myself. 50 seconds. I can recite for myself.
No, wait. I don't mean talking about the hadith now.
No, but that is no, just wait. Okay, I can go and check.
No, wait. I want to give this. 30 seconds. Okay, then moment after my
okay. For argument's sake, let's accept all lumo wahni. Yeah. Let's accept all. Why Islam tamid wahna nyune. Sude lulu defko santa domi adama. So deme be nyune lane def la de ham. Dan ko wara bayi. For example, suñ la waxe fasting or fartla. Why so deme doctor mu ne la so ore baaxut si yow def la gañ do bay so why should it be different because ñu ngay affect women yeneen ñaata sunna lañ fi am yoo xam ne ñoom nekkuñ di ko advocate lu tax nekkul di dem di advocate sunna yooyu doo dem nga wax dëkk bi ñëpp ñu yar sikin doo dem nga wax ñëpp ñu sol tricot tubéy déedéet may ma man parengu ma demal nga wax góor yi ñu sol tricot tubéy ñu teg mbaxana seen boppa yi ñu yar sikin yooyu xaamut ñu waaw ñu sol kaala yooyu yëpp xaamut ñu kenn du la confront si yooyu yëpp demal promote ko waaye lépp loo xam ne dafa teg métit si jigéen ñu ngi laa wax ne tegalee ñu ko boor te lu ma laa ñaan mooy léegi comme que xam nga ne fii lañ ñëw come on board, honorable. Let's work together. Let's go into our communities. You work together. You build some communities. More than there has been so much time spent on this debate, so much resources, so much everything. Well, if I was
to condemn the violence against
I'm talking about that. I'm talking about for me generally, I am not into any violence. Yeah. And in Islam or in tradition. We are all Gambians.
Yeah.
Key is a sister of mine.
Yes.
Irrespective of Jubo Fana.
Yeah.
We are not into agreeing into an issue.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean she's my enemy.
No.
I can call her anytime and say, what? Even I do converse with her. I said, for you, you are. I say, you are sister on this day. I'm also going to. I'm not going to leave this day.
Okay.
But now, in any issue, that people will subject to harassing people.
That's not right.
Is that right? I condemn in totality. But what I'm also saying is, and I also want to applaud on her, let her also warn her activists. Fatou, me, I attended a lot of conferences there where maybe she is not present. Sometimes the tune, you need to inform people. You will not come to my community and insult me, as what you have said. Or the way you want to harass.
We don't work that way anymore.
Listen, she is a human being. I'm a human being. There may be causes, every action may cause a reaction. I can tell you for free there. You cannot go to provincial Gambia and somebody who has been practicing ages. You are telling me a backwardness, as what others are saying that this is pre-colonial thing, So now, somebody who's seen that, no, you see, she is telling me that I am from all those ancient people. When in the West, they are promoting homosexual, which is ancient. So when you come to this, I think it's also I can add my voice that I am not happy the way they treat anybody, irrespective of either you support it or you don't support it. But the problem is, the activists need also to be very compulsory.
Bull justify. When you condemn violence, bull argue.
No, I'm just saying to her.
When you condemn violence,
no, I'm condemning violence. I'm condemning violence. Also the mode and oppression. I also have an important thing that I also want to send, Fatou.
Yeah.
In which I think, if you give me 2 minutes,
1 minute.
I want to, not hadith. You know, in issues of some of these issues. In 1994, at Islamic University, you know, declared female circumcision
94
as something that is a prescribed thing. 1994. 2006, the Assembly of Muslim Jurists of American States said female circumcision is Islamic and not extended beyond.
Those are outdated.
No, 2006. Outdated. So these are fatwas that have been. If you go to the National Council of Islamic Affairs of Malaysia, they declare it also in 2009.
Honorable, you're outdated.
2018, the Islamic Cultural of Ireland stated that female circumcision is Islamic and not FGM. So you see the qualification that I'm talking of.
Honorable,
so the other thing also, 2018, the Somalian government rules a female circumcision mandatory for all girls while banning FGM. Now, if you go to Sri Lanka, organization declared Islamic circumcision as Islamic and called for medicalization to ensure procedures of removal in the proper Islamic way and teaching of Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. And in so now, what I'm just now, this is the last one. In 2021, Al-Juma, the most popular international Islamic magazine, declares female circumcision obligate and specific removal of the teachings of Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. So what I'm just trying to tell people, we have to agree to disagree. Conceptual approach and method that you think. Do you understand? Now, in as much as condemnation, the law, it should not stop for somebody to say, okay, this is a law, but I want to make sure I break the law. This is what I tried. It didn't work. But that doesn't mean the Gambian people will be silent to see this criminalized law, to decriminalize it, to suit the welfare of the Muslims and the traditional people who are in to perform their religion and their culture. So in so doing, as I said, it will take ages. Billion of years or whatever.
Honorable.
But the forces are here to stay there. And what she's saying also is, in as much as we are concerned, when they went to Egypt, one national assembly asked the scholars in Egypt, what is the fatwa of the 3 scholars school of thought?
On FGM.
On female circumcision, on FGM. Do you know what the scholar said? He said the other scholar said is wajib, obligatory, sunnah, or mustahab, or likelihood. The MP stopped asking questions. He said, then it's finished. So now, I want people to understand that let them not be ruling aspect. You know what I do tell people, even Fatou, we can agree to disagree. But the moment you touch and said, Lidu Dine, Lidu Islam, you are hurting me. You are insulting me. And now when you said that this tradition is barbaric, Fatou, they use this word.
Honorable, can you use that language? I'm telling
you, last interview with Peter Gomez. A woman who has betrayed the cause of this country had used that.
Anyway, Honorable.
So now you expect me and her to talk on this is when she's insulting my culture?
Honorable, she's part of that culture. She's part of that culture.
And now the funny thing is, when they talk, they will say that me, I am circumcised, but they will not say I'm mutilated. They will not say that.
Now, Honorable.
Yes.
Are you concerned that now that this law has passed, you know these people, they have the lobbying powers, they have the resources, and they have the connections.
And they have the faking momentum of.
Are you concerned that all of you MPs that voted to repeal this ban, this might cost you your seats in the assembly? I saw Fatou tweet challenging some party, UDP, asking them what their position is, because most of them, almost all of them, voted to repeal the ban, to uplift the ban, right? Are you concerned that, you know, these people will come after you? I saw that your people also said they're coming after those MPs, but are you concerned that they have more connections than you, they have more resources, they can lobby more than you guys? Are you concerned?
For me, my concern, I just pity them. I sympathize them, the activists.
Why?
The reason why I say so, in my constituents, I am sent by my people. And out of 100%, 97 to 98% are people who even told me the day that they believe. Do you know what they tell me? We are more committed to fight this cause. And in the Gambian context, I can tell you, if Fatou wants this, agree or disagree, let her go and open a radio show. Those who want this, those who don't want it, let him not talk there. All of us, we go and sit in the radio and we listen. And now, we'll be able to qualify whether they can change. Can you listen, Fatou? Because the cause that you are saying, that an activist will not cause my seat if I'm in the right track.
Yeah.
If I'm in the wrong track, not only an activist, my people will cause my seat. And I can tell you, so in the general context, you know, they are not our threat. They are only a threat to our religion that we believe.
That's unfair.
In which
that's unfair, and you shouldn't.
They are a threat to our religion. Do you know why I say so?
You are not more as a Muslim than us, and that's not right.
What we believe is our religion. Yeah. No, let me learn.
Yeah, but what
we believe is our religion, and they are against this. This is what I'm saying.
You are using religion.
Second,
and that's not right.
They are a threat to my tradition because they don't support my tradition that I believe. This is why I said it's a threat. She has to understand what I'm saying there. She has to understand the context.
I am a Muslim. Are you saying because Fatou
no, you don't understand. Fatou is not fighting.
Fatou is not fighting,
is not spending money.
A choice.
Have you ever went to the media, everywhere and said, I'm ready to spend this. I'm ready to send my people to the Bolonkono.
No, I said I'm not taking my child.
Yes.
I'm just trying to say. I want her to understand, you are not an activist into the hem of affairs of this. What I'm just saying, I am in media, I want to be very clear.
Okay.
That whoever said I am not going to, they fight against me.
We are not fighting Islam.
You are a threat to my tradition.
You should stop using that language.
You don't want me to do what I believe as my religious belief. You want to distort it. Yeah. You are a threat to my religion belief. And if you don't want to do as my origin,
misconception you
are a threat to my origin. So now,
this misconception
people who are a threat to my origin, people who are a threat to my religion, people who are a threat to my culture, I don't see any way that they'll be able to put me in a mess. I'll only be messed up when I mess with my people. They have their right to advocate.
Yeah.
But I, as a representative of the people, I am elected by people.
So you said an
overwhelming majority of my people are saying that I should continue the fight.
Okay.
And I'm very ready to continue the fight.
Fatou, I saw your post on Twitter. You questioned members, especially the UDP as a party, where they stand. I saw Madi also wrote that, and we even reproduced that story, asking where does the UDP stand when it comes to women and female and women rights. You know, I saw in a comment somebody said, you know, if you look at most of these MPs that voted to repeal this ban, they come from communities where they believe, allegedly, this person in the comment section, that their people, they were listening to their people and that's what they wanted. For example, an MP, Suleiman Saho, who is from Badibu. I don't know what the Badibunkas are saying now, but you know, this FGM and all this are rooted in Mandinka communities and Fula communities and Jola communities, you know, and mostly Sarahules as well, right? So if they are from these communities and they are listening to their people, is our process not is not a people's representatives? Because if you are in the National Assembly, you're supposed to listen to your people. If that's what their people are telling them, do you think it's wrong to vote against the bill because that's what their people say? They're sent there by their people. What is your stand on that?
I think it's very unfortunate because the reality is we know that most of those people, there isn't many MPs that I have not engaged one-to-one. And they would tell you, I know that this practice shouldn't continue. But if I do not, this is what my community wants. This is what my people want. I have a problem if an MP voted to repeal this law because they did it to come back to parliament. Remember, most of these MPs is their first time in the parliament. They're enjoying their benefits that comes to being a parliamentarian. Ask Honorable here. They have a lot of benefits and they don't want to lose those benefits. But at the expenses of girls and little girls' bodies, that is very disappointing, and that's the issue I have. If really you decided my stance is because most of them haven't even been to their communities to consult them. So how did they jump into that conclusion? Because of this narrative that this is what our communities want. But as I said to you, Gambian communities, most Gambian communities do not want FGM to continue. I encourage you to go and do a study. Yes, there are some pockets where there is still strong support. I have to acknowledge that. But majority of Gambians, go and look again, the mix. They did interviews with women who had undergone FGM, and a lot of them would tell, they found a majority, in fact there was a huge drop from the previous mix that showed how many women, I don't know the exact figures, but there was over 20% drop in the number of women who wanted the practice to continue, and these are survivors. So we have that evidence. But what I found, for me, the reason I did that tweet is because one particular UDP MP,
as a big
so for me that's why I retweeted that. And I consider the UDP party as a very progressive party. And I consider them, I have interacted with a lot of them who are highly educated. I know that they are against the practice. So I don't understand.
Do you think most of them were voting based on perceptions from their communities?
For me, I think most MPs who voted are voting because they think that is what will make them come back to the parliament. And that is what makes it very disappointing. It's because you didn't do this for your community. You did it for the luxury. You want to come back to parliament, you want to enjoy the benefits of being a parliamentarian. That's why you took that at the expenses of little girls. That is disappointing. Yes.
Now, Fatou, this brings to something that is very dear to my heart, and I keep saying it. The first day I heard National Assembly members talking about skin bleaching at the Assembly, I sat here and I said, it's about time we go out there and elect more women in the National Assembly.
You know that skin bleaching is there.
I believe if men, I mean, no disrespect, we have some men who are more activists than me and you. They believe in women issues. They believe in helping women and supporting women causes.
And I'm also part of them.
But again,
we hope you will step in from now on.
You should come in. But yet, I still believe, for example, I went through female circumcision. I know my experience. You went through, someone else went through, right? If we have more women in the parliament, when we talk about the time women should go to maternity leave, they should be able to tell you the experience during that period, why they can justify it.
They can
when we
relate
talk about female circumcision, they can relate. When we talk about bleaching and all other issues, female issues, things that are very, very close to our hearts, things that men don't experience, women that can experience it are in the parliament to be part of the decision making. Right now, apart from Honorable Ami Koli and Tumanjai, who were elected, who else was elected?
Farmer Cham.
And Tumanjai.
So we have three elected.
And apart from those, the other two were nominated, right? We have only, 5 or 6 women in the parliament. We should do more. And I think that is one thing, you know.
So I'm glad you brought that up because for me, and this is, thank you, because, you know, the whole issue of FGM, we cannot address it without addressing the broader gender inequality. We cannot end any form of violence against women without having more women in leadership positions. We need to have more representation, and we need to have not just token. We don't just want any woman. And I believe in 2026, 2027, it is going to change. You see how the activists fought on this bill?
I have an opinion on that when you finish.
Yeah.
I'll help her.
No. Go ahead.
Me and my sister are talking.
It doesn't matter. I'll help her. She thought maybe they're making. Somebody who is whatever. You know, they're making.
They did well there.
I sympathize them.
Well, come on, Nana. No. Honestly. Like, we know the significance. We saw, Fatou, it was upsetting to sit at that parliament and to hear men, trivializing, putting our pain so small. People like Honorable Gibba, who would never know what it feels like to be a woman.
I can help her.
To stand there and try to talk about our bodies and what happens to us as if it's his experience. We want to change that. No, Honorable, you will never know.
No, I'm telling you.
You being a bystander. You being a bystander. You are a bystander. You will never know. Are you a woman?
When they give false impression.
Let her finish.
Honorable.
She's
No, I'm not accusing you. Honorable, you will never know what it feels like to be a woman. As much as you empathize with us.
Women are talking about the experience. So
you see, this is what I want this to happen at the parliament, where Honorable will have other women challenging him. Because Honorable looks like he's not used to this. He's used to taking control of the conversation. Yes. So we want to change that. We want to change that narrative, and we really want to get more women into leadership positions. Because after all, for how many years this has been the same scenario in our National Assembly. Look at how boring that National Assembly is.
I agree with her on the issue. I agree with her on the issues. I agree with her on the issues of leadership, for example, in parliament. But do you know the problem? She will not be willing to go in the parliament. We have to be frank.
Who told you that?
Sitting.
Why are you making assumptions?
You know the problem is, she will not be like to be a politician. I'm seeing that women, if, for example, you said, okay, Fatou, we are coming elections.
We will address those issues.
We want you to buy for elections. No.
I'll say your brothers.
The problem is not about them.
They're going to put on women.
For example, now,
talk about that.
The women themselves, they don't support each other.
Who said that?
Women in politics.
Are we not supporting each other?
No, I'm telling you, let's wait. I have to help her. Fatou is not into the political arena.
No,
it's paid.
You know, women sometimes they say, no, you have to go back and change the notion. Of women that we want to stand on this. No, she doesn't want to be a politician. My sister doesn't want to be the other sister doesn't want a politician. Who will now be a politician? And now, after all, it's about you. It's not about the group, whatever. This is not about activism there. It's about being in a constituency, be ready to voice out, and be ready to stand. The courage starts from you as the woman. And the rest would follow. And the other thing that I also want to put across, sometimes you have good women in leadership position. But Fatou, they will not talk. We have vice presidents, for example, second in command as a president. No, I'm telling you, don't listen. No, I want to help her because you know what problem is. Today, let me tell you this. I am a vice president. And I know this is something that may trigger and may also be something else. I be in ministerial positions. Go up to the hemisphere of the last dot. What should I do? If it is me, I'll make sure that I will not put my rules very well. Okay, actively. No, I think this. If we may not think this way, but next, it may have a change on this. What do we put in place? So you know, as what he's saying, this is the kind of woman that we have in leadership. But after being away from leadership, they will stand. So Fatou, I advise her.
Change the topic.
But they will be afraid.
Let me tell you.
She will not even go to her college and contest. Do you know what he said? Hey, Nendirolu, Sagai,
we are addressing that system.
But the problem now is, herself should be bold enough to say, I want to be this.
Okay.
Nobody forced Fatou to go and read. Even if the dad said, you go and read. But she had that vision that, I think, I have to do this. It has to start from them. You know, that's why sometimes, even to Manjai, we spoke the whole time. You know, we want to bring laws that will make a woman inclusion. I said, hey,
we are bringing that bill.
Let the women be ready
30% representation.
If the women are ready, it will happen. But you're going to bring a law, a scarcity of law, that you want to use that law and be a bargain. Me, I don't believe in that. Me, in as small as gender equality, I believe in gender equality. But
you don't want to
believe in gender equality.
No, I'm not saying this. I believe in gender equality.
You don't want to give
but it's not only a law, just a law to be there. But I have to see from them.
But that's how you encourage people. In Senegal, that's what they have.
Force, considering our
Senegal
society.
is different. When I went to last year, I went to Dakar just of recently.
No, Senegal.
I've seen MPs
Senegal,
of women.
yeah.
You know, when they sit with men. I'm telling you this.
I know, but
you say different. Gaps.
But you know how
what are you saying? You know how they started in Gambia?
You know how they started? They have a system where
you
have a man, you have a woman.
No, man.
I think we should definitely push for women in leadership.
Absolutely.
And I think that is important. But one Lena Lohamne Digala, Gambian women to be honest, supporting each other. If we want a women president, we will have.
Of course.
Because we are
But would you support each other? No.
And I think, you know, like she said, we have to that culture we have to encourage. And I want to encourage you, Fatou, honestly. You know, this conversation that we are having, you are having with Honorable, is very healthy. We don't have a lot of your people coming here. And I said, you guys are the face of gender, you know, support, human rights defending women's rights. You, Jaha, and Satang, Nabani, and others, right? I said to Turenyol, what the time will time because they are much older now, right?
Jaha hasn't. Jaha
has done an amazing job.
But my Jaha is expired now.
My friend, stop. These are the face of helping us, you know, defending, you know, girls' rights in this country. The Aïssatou Touré and the Ami Bojang, they have done their part. And they are still Nyunglena Gunge. And you guys are the face and you're doing an amazing job. But I guess it is also important. Lima de wa rek moy problem bi. And I'm going to say it here. I'm not denying I'm new mere. You dem tweet and you walk. But the fact is, ñun suñ gaay dañoo foog ne yow Fatou Baldeh yow nga xam ne tey man dama toog nii rek di la xool and I was amazed the way you were talking and defending what you believe in and amuloo dara looy shy away if you believe in a cause and nga ne lii mooy suma calling lii liggéey la gis nga lu nekk calling la man comme man ko before the show I will never be a politician it's not my calling, this is my calling and I will continue. This is what I love doing. It's a passion. Just like you. This is what you love doing. This is your passion. It's a calling for you. If you believe in something, just like mom, li wo def ni def ko gum. Lim la woni def ko gum. Moo tax it kenn mënu ko see move. Yow tiital tey ni nga waxee yaa ngi wax. Su dee keneen tam noonu la gëmee na génn a wax. Waaye ñoom suñ waxutee ñun suñ toogee si platform yi me when I sit here. Even though I might support a cause or not, I try to be neutral because if I try to have a side, then the other party will not come. And I need everybody on my chairs here. So I sit here as a neutral person. But if you don't come and the other person comes, I'm going to give them the platform and they're going to speak. When they speak against your cause, that doesn't make me biased against you. It's because you're not coming. And since side lul the falak, you cannot, and I say this, and I think when it comes to issues with women and gender issues, lolu moy problem bi in you know see advocacy bi you cannot just keep the advocacy to your neka yo nga am sa group yo ya ngey liggey on your own kenen am bossa mu liggey on how kenen am you are not working together and that is an issue and I think unless you guys come under a big umbrella and work together and you know jital cause jigeni and then mu melni xam nga we are fighting this as a front then it makes it easy but then ko invite su ñewte Fatou Baldeh rek su ñew kenen ñew ñun dañoo am problème buñu wax activiste ñun ñi yëpp jigéen la ñoo wax
you put it in the right way. You know they are not in line with each other.
Honorable,
they are competing each other.
Can I speak because lead important.
It's very important.
Thank you. Appreciate now. No more jump see conversation.
No, honestly.
Honestly, of course, we live in a patriarchal society. Gambian society, the firm make jigen ñuy compete. That is what comes out of a patriarchal society. Ñun from buñ nekké xalé ñun ñoo ré so solé sambu ba sax ñu né nubako bu ko kenen gis li you don't realize how we are actually molded into these people that we grow up. So in society, they make you compete. And this is not different. Linga was civil society, media, so it's an issue. If you go to the parliament, it's probably the same way. So it's not just Linga civil society, it's everywhere.
That's why we cannot get women leaders.
So we need to take responsibility. And I think civil society proof nañ suñ boppa si bili Honorable Gibba bi because we saw the need to work together. Honorable,
a heavy hammer is waiting for them.
One thing, the reason we've been able, as you said, when this bill came, I will tell you the truth, we were scared. We saw the potential.
It was scary.
It was scary. Until the last, even on the final day, people were saying, relax. I did not relax until the speaker announced. I was scared. But one thing I will tell you, for the first time, we collaborated. It didn't matter whether I had an issue with someone else. We knew we had one goal, that Gibba's bill must fail.
And it failed.
Fail. We put our powers together. We worked together. We supported each other, and we had men as our allies as well. Some people came in the open, somewhere at the back. This struggle, it wasn't just ñun ñi ngeen gis ci kanam. There were forces. Ñun yëpp ñu génn. Te gis nga luñ def nii bañ mun a kill this bill. Ben feel, we are going to do the same thing next election to make sure that we have women. We've done it, practice we can achieve something. And we are going to do that. And I will encourage you, Fatou. Also, ñun tam dañ bëgg yen media bi tamit. Gen ibil ñu bunta bi, gen ñoo my platform. Because if we are fighting, put in the more women in leadership. We need to build confidence. We need confident women. So it's not just about nominating. Let's teach them how do they come and sit and hold interviews.
When it comes to election, when it comes to election, candidate jigen, National Assembly, support openly.
So let's do that.
You know why I will do that? It doesn't matter fan joge. As long as yangi danga qualify nga ba. Because gis nga man bima gisé ñu discuss women issues at the National Assembly, magis man, you know, when it comes to sexuality and others, somebody telling us, oh, jigen bu dem do this, I'm good. Those kind of things, I just wish women were talking about it, how they're going to be sensitive about it. So that's why it's important to have more women to balance the men in the National Assembly.
I agree.
So, and I think that we should all champion.
Well, we're going to come to you. We're going to use your platform to time be and we want our allies, Gibba hamna ne fumneka ni kay legi ñew na on board. Dina ñu dimbalé ci bobu nonu tamit parewul.
Thank you very much. I think
and I wanted to come to your bill.
Before that.
National Assembly pension.
So what I just wanted to
you cannot go without talking about that.
No problem. What I just wanted
the last word there.
You know what I just wanted to is very clear. That she's talking about leadership. I don't see them moving. Especially
they just we move. We never move.
Listen, I'm just trying to say, Fatou, this is beyond them. The head of state, the head of state is fully into this.
The head of state.
Yes. This why it wasn't a secret. MPs were terrified into this. It is a climate. You know, sometimes when I look at them laughing, I just pity them. There is a big hammer awaiting them. And the future will dictate.
A big hammer.
This is a country that we all belong. And the majority voice would not be suppressed by a cohort.
Majority.
You know, a cohort within. So generally speaking, in the aspect that she's talking about the gender, whatever, they will not. They can streamline together. But the problem is, Fatou herself will not have that confidence to go to Foni and participate in election.
He's challenging me.
Do you understand? And the other people also will not. Because, you know, say, politics, you know, this, they will not. The problem is, they have a common goal for this. But I'm telling you, activism, they can join. I agree with that. They can work together.
Thank you.
But in terms of issues of
calling.
They will not.
That's their calling. Let them stay.
You know, so the problem that I'm just going to put it to her. Let her understand the Gibba that you knew becoming so, you know, strong, energetic in issue of the cause of female circumcision is the same Gibba. I'm here to stay.
You're here to stay.
And the future will determine.
The future will determine.
We will make sure we fought to the last dot.
Yeah.
That our religion, our culture, and our belief will not be subjected to any Western pressure or donors or aid. So, in reality, this is the general well-being. Okay. And this is a country that we all belong to. And for me, generally, you know, I am resilient. And I can tell you for free, Fatou, if I was somebody who is just very straight to be manipulated or be moved or been whatever, I could have surrendered. And I can tell this bill was not my making. It was somebody who failed the country, who betrayed what he believed, and now left over, in which we've all agreed unilaterally that let this go. So me. And that person became the biggest supporter of exactly sitting there.
Well, credit. We are better fighters. We are better fighters.
And now the problem is me, Manduma MP government, who ahead.
The one who had Bahna.
Me, whatever I say, whatever I stand for.
Gibba, let's talk about.
So generally, my sister, don't be surprised, my sister will still fund me to follow a course.
To follow a course?
Yes.
She will fund you?
Yeah.
That would be a good
She'll support me.
Of course, I will support you. I want to work with you. I've said that there are so many.
But not holding me onto the There are
so many issues that we are both passionate about. I've spoken to him about things that we could work on.
I cannot be caged. I cannot be bored.
There are some Western things that we can also incorporate in our society.
No, not that we can do, but the problem is, for this one, is zero. You know, they say zero tolerance. For me, I can even say, if there's any word better, I cannot. Me, I told you, I cannot pretend.
Okay. Now, Gibba, let's look at the bill, the pensions bill, and the judicial officers bill. The judicial officers bill was supposed to be on today's order. Okay. And it was removed. What happened?
Generally, for me, Fatou,
Are you voting for it?
I do tell my people, the first day that they brought the bill, I went through the bill. What emanated was, this bill was part of the constitution that was rejected by members.
Yeah.
So when they rejected the constitution didn't progress. They went and cut the portion exactly from the constitution and brought it as a bill. And they said, hello, unfortunate MPs, we want you to vote this. Me, follow my interview or follow my contribution in parliament. I told them 40 feet deep for that bill to be buried.
40 feet deep?
40 feet deep.
Why?
The problem is, Fatou, you cannot have a judge where even you retire. Fatou is a judge currently. If Fatou's salary increases, you retiring, your salary will also be the same. How about the teachers? How about the soldiers? How about the nurses? How about other people? And again, if you look at the retirement benefits, in which they are asking, you go off with everything. What we are now saying is, it's not fit for purpose. It doesn't even befit our current situation.
Can it be edited?
Huh?
At least they deserve to have.
No, the problem, sometimes bills, when they come, sometimes you don't waste your time. Me, I told them, you don't go and say that we push this bill.
Take it to committee stage.
For example, now, if you take it to committee stage, teachers also come and say, okay, we want teacher scheme. Nurses come and say, we also want nurses bill. Soldiers who come, we also have this bill. What are we trying to do? What we told them clearly and empirically clear, and in my submission, let them come with the whole service reform of salary scheme. Let them reform everything. It includes everybody. Then now, when you do so, it will not harm her, it will not harm me. People will know, okay, they came with an informed decision.
What about the National Assembly bill? That is
the National Assembly bill, for me, if it comes, I'm going to vote it out.
You vote it out?
I'm not going to support these bills. Do you know what happened is? I've seen there is a betrayal or it's a catch situation that they want to catch in National Assembly. It was brought, judiciary, we throw it off. They now brought it plus our pension scheme together and say, you just, kidina baili. So if you don't vote this one, you vote this one. Hey, okay, they are supporting National Assembly. Or they are supporting this judiciary bill. Me, I am not that. I am the representative of the people. And my people say they don't, and I'm not. And in that, there are also two progressive clauses that people may not know. For example, me as a parliamentarian, you will only get your pension when you serve 2 consecutive terms of 5 years, 10 years. 10 years. You'll be given pension. Okay. But for 5 years, you'll only be paid gratuity. And in that gratuity, you have to serve for 5 years at the last dot.
Okay.
Even you serve 4 years, 9 months, 4 years, 11 months, 4 years, 11 months, 0.599, whatever months, you will not get anything. That's why the former MP of GDs who passed away, the family didn't get anything.
Oh, okay.
There are progressive laws, but the timing and what they brought, we will not accept it. Though I don't know whether next Monday or whatever they'll bring it, but for me, my stand is very clear. Mandumawa White, judiciary bill, I told you 40 feet. This one, it will even be more than 40 feet. Because we will not be in a system where they just, I told the boys, youths who were, you know, how to call it,
the demonstrators
protesting.
Yeah.
I said, even the National Assembly is not within us yet. And it is the finance or justice who will bring the bill.
Oh.
It's not even with us.
Okay.
And they were also not understand. I think last year they came to Parliament. They had to explain to them the procedures and what. I think also the youths should also understand that when they say a bill, it doesn't mean automatic.
Yeah.
A bill has processes and stages.
Well, they just want to block it before it.
You know, so generally, for me, my stand is very clear. I am not in support, and I will not support it. And it depends on the timing and the mode in which they brought it. I will not be into that. So, generally speaking,
for you, it has to be everybody included.
Exactly. That's what we are calling for.
I think that is.
And I think the fairness of all. Look at what we have, GAF. How to call it? TACOS, the Gambia Armed Forces.
Yeah.
Their TACOS is circumambulating around, from office to office, door to door. So just 5 years, 7 years today since Barrow came become a president, he promised to make sure TACOS is given. But now, why is it that this law will come, this other one will not come? Immigration Act is still. Now we just saw National Security Bill. That is what I've been committed to our committee, Defense and Security. So generally speaking,
I think we should look at the
holistically.
Constitution. Bring the Constitution.
Exactly.
That will address
That's what
all of
I
it.
was
So if you want to be in front of you, for example, now, I even told when they brought, I said, now, you are telling the Constitution be bowed.
Wow. Yeah.
Because why? If this was in the Constitution,
it would have been voted.
Can you vote? Can you bring it and say, okay, this is there. Let me. But now they went and cut that part of judiciary. New Isiko has been. So you expect me to love the Constitution?
Yeah. I think for
definitely
me,
the Constitution is what really needs to go back, because it also encompasses what we are talking about, women in leadership and all that. It was very more progressive. So I hope that we really work more on that than just picking out. I didn't realize this, but
that's what they did. They pick, for example, now, you know,
the election bill, they just took it out. This one, they bring it. They bring in things.
You know what I do tell people? You know what I do tell people is, as a representative of the people, don't say that what you like, that's what you advocate. That's what I'm seeing with this government. And I can tell it very clear. It's not like I like this, I will bring it. I don't, or I want to waste time in this, I should not. So if you want to work on, you know, inclusive governance, it has to be all. And I'm telling you, the day that we lay our bill, this bill of judiciary remuneration bill lastly, do you know what the magistrate said? They said they are going out to protest if it was passed. Yeah, because they are not included in the bill. The teachers also said they are going to protest. And the nurses, they are going to protest. So now, do we accommodate that? Protest everywhere. So that's what I'm telling is, the government need to rethink, and they come with a salary scale where it will include everybody. And I think it will also generate more trust on the people. And I'm also telling the youths, it's not about fighting or whatever. It's good they go and protest. Even me, when they are protesting, I came out. They told me, you want to speak? I said, no, I just came to see you people. But my position into this bill, even if it comes tomorrow, I'll just speak against. 40 bits, and I'm not going to, you know, even look at other issues, whatever. Because now look at even magistrate, they said they will be paying vehicles to go and attend court sitting. They don't have mobility to go and attend court sittings. And you want that judge to enjoy that whatever. So look at what they have, and again look at the period that they work in the judges. The whole chunk of those, you know, clerks, magistrate, whatever, they do the whole donkey job. But at the end of the day, let's consider. So I believe, in as much as we want to bring up legislatives, but it has to reflect. And again, also, if you look at our economic situation, in reality, it's not telling well. And I do tell people, if, for example, the National Assembly, they are enjoying. We are not enjoying Fatou.
Yeah, you're enjoying it.
The problem is, the problem is,
you even have clothing allowance.
No, that clothing allowance. Do you know how much is 100,000 divided by 12?
Yeah.
$1,600. A protocol officer, a soldier protocol officer, and oddly to a president is paid more than me in terms of clothing allowance.
Yeah.
So sometimes now, that's why I tell one of my students, Omar, of Standard newspaper, my friend, the moment he published it, I said, you see, you're putting us into a problem. Instead of trying to distribute and said, okay, if it is monthly, will be this. When the woman said, National Assembly member, I paid 100,000. Do you know what they thought?
Yeah.
Every month clothing allowance is 100,000. And that's not the case. If you divide it, it's about $1,666. When that soldier who is a plain clothes officer have a 3,000 or 4,000 as clothing allowance. So generally, it comes back to people like my sister. If I have money as an MP, Fatou is from my constituency, it goes back to her. It goes back to people. So at the end of the day, you see MPs who are driving. At the end of the day, they are indebted.
Yeah.
They're frustrated in their doings because in Gentes, whatever, you all know the families or the society that we belong to.
Yeah.
So generally, I think
definitely send money. Omar from Gibba, final motion. Definitely send money. Final message.
Anyway, it's good to have my sister. And I think we will collaborate and work together for the purpose of maintaining the status of our religious culture and the well-being of our Gambian people. And for me, I am of the belief, and I can tell people that Aluta continues.
Aluta continues.
Yes, thank you.
Fatou.
And thank you. And as I said in the opening, I'm really glad that Honorable brought this bill because it has really forced us to talk about this. Otherwise, would we have sat here to have this conversation?
No.
So I think just this, how many people are listening and are going to make a choice from the conversation that we are having. So it's really good, and I really hope that Honorable Gibba, now that we've gotten to this stage, he would really come on board and work with us, and we go back into our communities, not just about addressing FGM, but addressing, I am from Foni, just like him. We know that in our communities there, teenage pregnancy is rampant. We know that HIV prevalence are high. We know that there are high maternal mortalities, neonatal deaths. We have so many issues. Yes, child marriage. We want to work on those issues, and we really hope that, as he said, we've finished with this the battle of the bill, and now that we are moving forward, how can we synergize our energies to really go forward and really see that we build back our communities and that we use them. They're very influential within their communities, but we also come with our influence, and I think if we complement each other, we will achieve a lot of great things. Yeah.
And I hope going forward you'll be able to work together to
we are going to
go to people and give them, how do you call it, empower them with knowledge as to, this is a law, and just like the minister said.
For that one, Father, I have to be on record. Issues of female circumcision, we are stronger, and we are committed.
So
and we will continue to fight. Yes, until we lose. So generally, I have to be very clear to people. I will not sit here and said, FGM issue is case closed.
It's closed. I'm not for them at the honorable.
Very strong and committed to this cause.
And we are stronger as we have proven.
Then
so just give up.
In the tail end.
We'll
meet at the tail end. But yes, I love this conversation. It's good to have healthy conversations like this. This only empowers our people with knowledge and information, and also to understand that Gibba and Fatou, when I called both of them, hey, and this conversation was only able to help the viewers out there to be able to have more knowledge about this. And I want to thank you, Fatou. Like I said, why you're from the victim center issues. No, Fatou do the interview. The people the victim center Libby all the time. Musumako call and she was out of town. But I think that's what we want. We want people like her to speak up. When they speak and they it's gonna inspire so many other people.
Of course.
But then if you guys don't speak up, that makes create room for people to the other people will come and they will speak, and then they get more information from the other camp, and I think it's important to have you on the show. And thank you very much for coming. Thank you, my brother.
Thank you.
And next, I want to have Imam Fati and Babali here.
Wow.
No, Babali will not come.
Babali will come.
He will not come. How many interviews? They set a platform and say, let's go. He will say, no, Manyoma.
Thank you very much, and good night to you.
Thank you so much.
See you again next week Thursday. And it's been a rainy day.
No.
It's been raining, but I'm going to Tausi Gambia, and you them see Faroe. Si weekend bi dem bay
moom kay du dee bay de.
Fatou foo ñu la jógee de.
Man waa foo ñu
la.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank
you very much.
We are happy to announce the launch of our new logo. We have evolved since our incorporation in 1997, and it is time to refresh our new look to reflect who we are today. Before I reveal our new look, however, walk with me while I take you through our journey of the last 25 years. Trust Bank was incorporated on July 3rd, 1997 and began operations on October 1st, 1997. Following the collapse of the parent company of its predecessor, Meridian, the CBG stepped in and recapitalized the bank and held the shares in trust, thus the name Trust Bank. In 1999, so we remain true to who we have always been. As we look forward to greater achievements, we are rebranding to reflect who we are today and the future that we inspire. Our new logo has been designed to visually demonstrate our Gambian heritage and the sophisticated nature of the bank. We are moving away from the navy and gold-colored parallelogram-shaped logo to our baobab tree with a rising sun in the background. The striking outline of a baobab tree at sunrise is a familiar sight to anyone who has spent time in the Gambia. Our new logo and visual identity are inspired by our core values and spirit of being a pioneer in providing a unique banking experience. It is a completely new look that better matches the transformation we have made as a company. But we remain your Trust Bank. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my singular honor to present to you our new logo and corporate identity.